Charges on the beat. To get your information. To spoon to be part of our discussion. Spoon television. Spoon registration. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Liberia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Monrovia. Spoon gonna tell you what is happening in Africa. Just to spoon you will know. If the children crying for starvation, just to spoon. You want to get a news update, my brother, to spoon. You want to know what is happening, Moravia, to spoon. Politicians want to make their decision, just to spoon. You want to know what happening in the ministry, to spoon. To spoon. To spoon. You from Vonjama, Maryland, to spoon. To spoon. If you eat get pound, congratulate my brother, to spoon. You got a Spoon TV, you got a Spoon Radio, to spoon. To spoon. Rastafari. Kilibaba, kilibaba, kilibaba. Kilibaba, kilibaba, kilibaba. What I want.
Well, folks, good evening. Good evening and a pleasant welcome. Coming up very shortly is a special edition of the program Spoon Talk. This is a special edition that the team had to bring to you. As we may be aware, Spoon Talk will be back tomorrow at 8 p.m. That is Monday at 8 p.m. Today is Sunday, a day off for Spoon Talk. But the team had to do an emergency show, calling it a special edition due to what happened in Liberia today. As you may recall, Senator Prince Johnson was attacked today. His service was attacked, and that disrupted normal service by folks who claimed to be from the ruling CDC, that is the NPP and CDC. So the team will be coming out shortly to talk about what happened, and Senator Johnson will be the special guest for this special edition, or you may term it as an emergency edition while we await tomorrow. Former Minister Lami Fagon and the CEO, they are all in the back getting ready to come on. So Nimba County political godfather whose service was attacked today will be coming on to speak on what happened. But while we are waiting the CEO and the rest of the team to come on, let me... Well, yeah, while we are waiting, let me just give you a gist of what happened. Let me just give you a bit of it. What happened today, a portion of the video, while we are waiting the team to come on. Again, I am James Goode Flummer. I'm still here.
Sonny as such. The all leadership brings back.
So that's a highlight of what happened today at Senator Prince Johnson's church. And this is what the team is going to be talking about. They're going to be telling you more. The victim, the senator who was attacked today, will be coming on to speak on what happened today at his church.
We don't want bloodshed. I will address myself to those statements made about me, our Vice President.
So just a bit, I'm just teasing you while we are waiting the team to come on. We have a lot of what happened from there and how it happened, why it happened. We also have the beginning of it, why the incident took
How can you say
place.
that you want to rescue something? What that mean? I need to find out what they want to rescue. I think
So that is the beginning of the violence. There where everything started from before we could arrive to where we ended today, where we have great, that is young men attacking his service today. The first time since the Civil War, this is the first time that we saw people disrupting normal church activities in the name of politics.
But Sonny as such, all leadership brings back to the nation. So that will be the theme of today's sermon. This has never happened before.
I'm 70, if I die, I will not die. Whoever will harm me will die. Whoever.
So I will not die. Whoever will hunt me will die. We have more of this coming on tonight, so you don't need to go away. If you are listening to us via Spoon FM, Fabric FM,
And your boy Friday the South Band charges on the beat. On the spoon to get your information.
Okay. I'm sorry I had to take a break to, answer. I'm just here to, keep you while we are waiting the team to come on. This is a special edition. Normally, we all know what happened today. If you are listening to us via Spoon FM, Fabric FM, Super FM, or watching through Spoon TV live on Facebook, Fabric TV on Facebook, or Spoon, I'm coming. Let me get this. Then we're gonna come on right here. Counselor, are you getting me, Counselor?
Yeah, I'm hearing you. Are you hearing me? I'm hearing
I
you.
don't think. Magic, please open the Counselor
Yes.
mic.
Yes, we are hearing the counselor. Counselor, can you hear me?
You getting me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right.
Yeah, I can hear you, counselor. Thank you. You are on. James, can you hear him?
Yeah.
James, are you hearing me?
See you, please take over. I'm coming 1 minute.
All right. Counselor Bakor, it's good to have you. Thank you very much for coming in and joining us. I believe that Yekezi should be in studio shortly, but you can hear us very well, correct?
I can hear you extremely well.
Let's see whether we on the radio. James, are you hearing him now?
Yeah.
We hope those on the radio line can hear us likewise. James, go ahead. You were saying your stuff. I know this is a special edition on a beautiful Sunday, but we are here to discuss issue. Eugene Lamy Fagon coming on, Wozi, Fadika. I believe that Richardson and the rest of the team, including Mo Ali, Sandro Johnson, and we will be listening to Prince Yeru Johnson from Nimba. Senator Johnson came under massive attack. His church came under attack today. We will give the senator the chance to explain and to speak to the nation and to speak to folks in and out of Liberia as to what led to these things. We will not be that judgmental, consider, but we want to know what's going on. Why, why are we here? Moving almost 4 months to election, we are walking. Are we walking into a death trap? Are we walking into a situation that we'll not be able to control during the election time? But talk to us, Councillor. It's good to see you, man. Happy Sunday.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, the Sunday is good. I decided to come because I think this issue that is going to be discussed, I think is extremely important. We go into very important elections in a few months, and when we start seeing the signs of violence, we all should be very interested in, speaking about them and ensuring that we take another a course, a better course, to not get involved in violence, because the moment violence starts, then we have a problem on our hands. So I thought it was necessary to be part of this discussion today.
I mean, I know we are waiting for the guys, and we'll be bringing in Senator Johnson. But where you are right now, what are you hearing since this incident on the Sunday morning? People went in to praise the God, to serve the God. They went in to listen to a message, and we will show the video. Group of guys with CDC beret went there, and, calling Prince Johnson names, calling for war crime court. Where were you? The nation respond to this thing? Talk to me, because you are in Liberia. Give us some update, Councillor.
I mean, from the time I heard about this, I was in a meeting in the afternoon when one of my colleagues brought this issue to our attention in the meeting. And I mean, it's basically that everybody who's well meaning will condemn the issue of disruption of someone's religious service. I don't know the extent to which the disruption happened. I don't know whether these people enter in a church, whether they want to stay on the outside and we're doing a protest, because that would be those two situations will present, different reactions. So I'm not too clear, but I've not seen a video other than the bits that Gode just played. I've not seen the video in totality. I don't know what actually happened. I read a press statement. I think that's issued by the Unity Party Standard Bearer and so condemning what happened and stuff. Um, I think Councillor Gonglo also issued a statement condemning what happened. So there seems to be condemnation happening across the board. And I think every one of us should condemn political violence, especially political violence that is taken into in a religious sphere. We were all here in 2004. I don't know whether you were in the country in 2004 when that violence happened, Muslim Christian violence happened, that put Monrovia at a standstill for over a week. So we have to make sure that we avoid these things. And I think the fact that condemnation is coming taken fast from all quarters. This is not about who you align with politically. It's about making sure that sanity is maintained in the society. So far, the people who have spoken to on this matter, the people who have heard talk about it, they have all unanimously condemned
Can
the
we
action.
have the Gonglo statement? Because we love to read it and post it as well. So if you can, just send it over to James, and we have to post it. We got the Unity Party condemnation statement. I have not seen one from ANC or CPP. I hope to read their statement up if they do issue one. But we want to read this statement up because the condemnation coming from all over. And I also can announce that I heard President George Manneh, we have placed a phone call to Prince Yeru Johnson. What was in the phone call, I don't know. We will allow Senator Johnson to speak on that phone call from President George Manneh. Also, whether only President we are or other ministers or senator, I heard also that Joseph Yiman Boaka, Jeremiah Cohn, and most of the senators placed a phone call or met. They met Senator Johnson. So we will give Senator Johnson a chance to speak on this issue because it is important. These are national concern issue. So if you have Tewon Say Ganglo, consider Tewon Say Ganglo press statement, please send it over, folks. This is a
Okay.
special edition of the Spoon Talk in reference to what took place this morning. As we wait for the guys, let's just bring you some clips, some video clips, and Prince Johnson will be speaking to the nation on our network today. James, uh, give us the video from outside of the church.
Okay.
Sunny as such. All leadership brings back to the nation. So that will be the theme of today's sermon. This has never happened before.
The patron now, no one now brings us to man the podium. Yo. He's a false prophet. Yo. Yo.
So tell us why this gallery is all about here.
Yo, the press gonna wait for signal.
Wait.
Press me wait. Yo.
So
We're sitting in the West. When you mentioned the name of our vice president, I was stand up. It was when we.
So, Councillor Bakpo, you are seeing the video. They are on the premises of the church, Prince Johnson Church. All right, they were in service, and we will play the entire from start to finish because Spoon Network were present, and that video was done by Spoon journalists. So, I want to talk to me real quick before we bring in former Minister Fagon. What have you seen such a thing before? On the church premises, people going, calling, killer, murder, war crime code, and these guys with the clarity, they are wearing CDC beret. Where are we heading to, Councillor?
So I don't know in living memory whether I've come across a situation where people decided to protest on private property, because the church obviously will be private property and the right to protest there will not be guaranteed by the Constitution or the laws of this country. If you own a public street in front of the church, that's a totally different issue. But on the church property, you don't have the right to be there to protest for any reason. I mean, obviously you'll be trespassing, and depending on what else you do, you could have committed a slew of other crimes. It's wrong. It's absolutely wrong. It should be condemned. It should be discouraged. And I think by now, the authorities should have taken into custody some of those people to set an example of them, to ensure that they don't do it, or other people do not see it as a blank check to also respond or do similarly. So, I mean, this is something we should call on the justice authorities now to, I mean, all those people who are in that video, especially if it is only an issue of trespass, if the church people want to press charges for them trespassing their property, they should be able to call them in and hold them accountable to serve as a deterrence to other people.
Thank you very much. Let me bring in, if you have something on, can you lower it? I don't know whether you have your cell phone doing a feedback till Yakisi can get in. Honorable Fagon, here we are. Honorable Fagon. Something crazy is happening, but something is boarding in our country. You've been there before, Fagon. You know these kind of things. You know the terrain when it comes to Liberian politics. We're going to bring in Prince Johnson shortly. But here we are on a Sunday morning. Freedom of religion were hijacked. Here we are on a Sunday morning. People left their homes to go and praise their God. And the rest of it, you can talk to the folks while we get Prince Johnson set to come and talk to us, Fagon. You're muted, sir.
First of all, I joined the many Liberians from all walks of life, especially the fact that I was able to see from the live feed today, seditions, NPP partisans, you name it, they all condemn what happened today. that it should not have happened in the first place. The second thing I like to say, Goody said people who claim to be from the CDC. That is not a claim. It is a fact that they're from the CDC. I was once upon a time in the CDC. They don not only the berets, the T-shirt. They did not only spot the banners, as seen in the video. They were members of the CDC, mainly the youth wing of the CDC and that of the NPP. I will share with you, I told you my eyes are all over. I have my eyes in the sky. I will share with you intelligence where you will, I don't want you to show it because under there will be a time and then we can go back and revisit, but you can read what I will share with you that made Prince Johnson say what he said. Having said that, by the way, let me greet my friend and brother, Councillor Pagoy. Pagoy, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Eugene. How you doing?
Article 14 is very clear. The 1986 Constitution is right here. You don't need to go far. It's not my words. It is very clear, Stanton, when it says that all persons shall be entitled to freedom of thought, conscience, and religion, and no person shall be hindered. So even if they were across the road and playing loud music, they would have been hindering, and I'm going to continue the quote, no person shall be hindered in the enjoyment thereof, except as may be required by law to protect public safety, order, health, or morals of, all the fundamental, I am looking at the paper, health or morals, all the fundamental rights and freedoms of others. All persons in the practice of their religion, as in the case of today, conduct themselves peaceably, not obstructing others, and conforming to the standards set out herein, shall be entitled to the protection of the law. Today, again, the second thing that happened was that they did not only go on the premises of the church, on the premises, you can see in the video when it begins, that video you see Prince Johnson standing behind the pulpit. Just 1 minute after that, you will see your reporter from Spoon walks outside and the guys are there, right in front of the church. And Matadi is there, those guys are there, and they're trying to push them back across the road. Now, the police, when they were called, came and stopped at the LBS. The video will show you. Here in Article 14, it tells you they shall be entitled to the protection of the law. The law can't stop to EFBC. How can you do that? But like Bagoy said, we're watching something that has the potential, to escalate. We don't want this, but in my honest opinion, I believe it was sanctioned by the Coalition for Democratic Change. And that means the NPP and all. The video does not only show it, the T-shirt does not only show it, the caps does not only show it, but imagine men dressed in military uniforms. And the video is my witness. Storming a church compound. Lest we forget, the people of Nimba were massacred in the Lutheran church. And Prince Johnson Church is predominantly people from Nimba. And you move on their grounds, not on the road or across the road, on their church grounds. In the video, you will see the people leaving the church, fleeing the church.
So, Fago, thank you very much. That set the stage because hearing that Senator Prince Johnson is really anxious to come on and to speak. But before we bring in Prince Johnson, Mo Ali will be joining us. Daniel Sando will be joining us as well. James, can you help us as we move towards, it looked like we just lost Councillor Bako. Councillor? Oh, are you still there?
Still
Thank you very much.
Yekezi lost.
Yeah, Yekezi will be coming on. James, let's see the origin. What led to this, folks? You remember when Madam Joa Howard Taylor went to the Capitol where she bossed low some sedition or other folks to have a counter protest to what was done with the staff of, welcoming Yombli Kanga Lawrence, Senator Darius DeLone, and the rest of them. Let's play you the clip. All right, let's just go back a little bit, 2-3 days ago.
How can you say that you want to rescue something? What that mean? I need to find out what they want to rescue. I think they want to rescue themselves. And I don't want to take my time to start to say so many things. I want to say one thing. This team that they are putting together on their side, Boyka, Kunti. One of the five percent well. Yeah. So I just want to ask you one question on your press people. God forbid people elect Vice President Boyka as president. He died in sin. Who will be president? So we're going to make Prince Johnson president? That is a very critical issue. When you are choosing a vice president, you got to be careful. If you need loyalty, you need somebody that will support you at all costs. Even you want the person to say, I'm a chief. But you need somebody that's something happens to you, say the person can carry on. So that we come and go to that Christian, we come and get the presidency too. But it's for you. You need to think about it very carefully.
So you see, Fagon, before we even get to the church, Councillor, the VP is very clear. Joe Howard Taylor say that Prince Johnson will come to get the presidency too. Words have meanings though. I need to understand from you guys, what's your takeaway? You heard what she said. That Joseph Boyka is sick. God forbid Joseph Boyka die. They're something going to Prince Johnson because Jeremiah Kuhn from MDR, Prince Johnson, Jeremiah Kuhn, they try to put those things together. But what's your takeaway for the sitting vice president? All right, to light the fire, and the fire we saw what happened today.
So I don't know whether the two situations are actually linked between her statement about the UP Senate Bearer's health and the situation that happened today. If you want to stop our political rhetorics, that should be protected language. That should be protected speech. And none of us should have problem with people throwing mud, political leaders throwing mud at each other. That's expected in a political arena. That shouldn't be something that should make anybody angry. But if someone decides to act upon that by going to disrupt another person's church service or threatening violence, that should be a no-go area. So I don't really see any problem with her, throwing political mud. I will assume that political mud she's throwing. So I don't see any problem with her throwing political mud. We should all be able to take it, put our big boy pants on, and respond in kind.
So then my second question to you before I bring in Fago on this though, Councillor, you think that you guys just took upon themselves to go visit Prince Johnson today?
No, I don't think they took upon themselves to go there.
Why do you think like them though? Why do you think like them?
The two groups have been mudslinging for a while. They've been mudslinging for a while. He said things about them. They said things about him. But they have to keep it in the stake and stones, Wars do not. There should be there's no human rights against making someone feel bad. So they should have the right to throw mud at each other. They should keep it at wars. That's basically it. But I don't think it's just those wars that made people to go there. Someone must have mobilized them. Someone must have provided the transportation for them. Remember July 26th, I think was 2 years ago.
That's what we're trying to get at. You say it's not the provider. We'll come back to you, Councillor. Let's come back to you. We are not that many. We'll come back to you. Let me bring in Minister Fagon. Minister, Councillor saying, I don't think so. But then he's saying someone might have paid their way, gather them, provide transportation, put them under the banner. Where are we with the CDC barrack?
Well, I'm sure if Councillor Bagoy had heard the last part of the video where Joel said, and I quote, God forbid something was so happy to him that Prince Johnson, you're making vice president or you think about it. Those were the last words of the video. I'm sure maybe he wasn't listening, because if he had heard it and he had followed.
I listened to that part. I did.
Yes. That Prince Johnson, y'all will be making president. And then Prince Johnson immediately. James, can you put up what Prince Johnson posted? Prince Johnson posted, Madam VP Taylor, I will reply to your allegation against me on Sunday at the church. So everyone is cordially invited to come to church on Sunday, May 21st, 2023. Now, right there, you see where we're going? So Prince Johnson was supposed to respond today during his sermon. And from all that we have gathered, and Stanton, yes, I sent those things. I told you I got eyes everywhere, and I got ears. Read it for yourself. And so Joel, in collaboration with Koji, Gray, Nangbe, and the others, orchestrated this operation. I don't think she meant it to go on the church compound. I think she meant it to just disrupt, if you like. You are a counselor, I'm not. But the guys took it upon themselves to take it the extra mile in military outfits. And in some cases, we're getting reports of weapons that were on the guys. You know that you will not go to Prince Johnson with empty hands. So I tend to believe that, owing to his record. Secondly, we got reports of the pickup that was parked between the gas station and that market, which is opposite ERBS. But what is annoying is Patrick Sudu acknowledged the call, responds to the incident, and then sit to LBS. What are we supposed to believe? So I think, like the question Stanton asked, for me, I'm beginning to think that these people are sensing defeat, not just defeat, but massive defeat. And they are trying to look for an opportunity to flee the country and usher in an interim government. I'm entitled to my belief. Article 14 of the Constitution is quite different from Article 17. Article 17 gives you the right to assemble peaceably and to call upon your leaders and whatsoever. You can look it up. But like you said, Lami, they don't have the right to go on somebody's premises. And the law says you cannot hinder their worship.
I want to hold you right there.
You know,
thank you very much.
Lami was right. We don't know what is happening. The world has to look at it. The Americans are on top
it's
of
kind of, listen, Prince Johnson is getting ready. I cannot bring Prince Johnson on until we have the full set. Dr. Richardson, Fadika, Daniel Sando, if you listen to me, you are in the back, but your video is muted. So please work on your video. We want to welcome in more Muhammad Ali from former Secretary General Unity Party. This is a special edition of the Spoon Talk based on what happened today. We had a statement from Unity Party Stand-Up Bearer Joseph Yimabwaika. We're having a statement from Councillor Tewan Ganglo. We hope to read statement from CPP as well. But let me just get your 2 cents, Mo Ali, real quick. You know what's happening. You're in Liberia. It was terrible this morning. Freedom of religion were hijacked by group from CDC. I need you to speak to the nation. You have your 2 minutes, Mo Ali.
Thank you, Stanton. Firstly, let me say good evening to Councillor Bagoy. It's been a very, very long time, my brother. I haven't seen you. What we witnessed today, Stanton, is reminiscent of the past. I remember sometimes immediately after the conflict, there was some attacks on, I think, some Muslim people or some mosques, and people were saying, you know, it's a religious war between Muslim and Christian. We can say anything we want to say. In this country, we have to respect the views of each other. We have to respect the views of people who we live with, despite the political differences. And you see, if you are prepared to go on the offensive, to attack other people's character, you must be prepared to be on the receiving end. Now, we all say a whole lot of things about Senator Johnson. We all, most of the time, accuse him of being a war criminal. We accuse him of killing people or murdering people. In the absence of not carrying him to court, he hasn't gone through court. We all believe that people who committed crimes in this country should go to court and exonerate themselves, those who are accused. Now, you went and said something about him in a political rally, and he said, okay, I will respond to my church when I'm preaching on Sunday. He goes to his church. Normally, Prince Johnson goes to a church. When people say something about him, he uses his pulpit to respond because his followers are there. There where he wants to speak to his followers. I believe these are the people who might have heard it, and these are the people who he owes clarification to. He goes to his church, and you dress up hooligans, pay them, and send them to attack his church. Let's even assume that Senator Johnson was not in the church, that he was having a press conference outside of this church to respond to things said to him by the vice president. It doesn't call for anybody sending people to attack him. Of course, we all do it in the political landscape in this country. You attack me, I attack you. And this is the reason why we've enjoyed peace for the last 20 years, or almost 20 years. Yeah, 20 years. Because we have learned over the time to tolerate each other. We've learned to tolerate the views of each other. The CDC people can say things about me. I go on my social media page, I say my own. We move on. Once the space is created for people to express themselves, once the space is created for people to respond to things that are said about them, we avoid conflict. But when you begin to limit that space, you begin to attack people, and they don't have the means of any more responding to those issues that are said against them. They don't have any longer the freedom to express themselves. That's how people can resort to gun violence. That's how people can resort to violence.
Thank you very much, Mo Adi. Let me bring in Dennis Sando. Are you with us? Good. Then we'll bring in Prince Johnson after we get to Minister Woolsey. Dennis Sando, well, what's the situation? Where were you when this thing happened? What are you hearing on the street? What position can you take today based on seeing sedition marching into the churchyard while Prince Johnson was about to speak? Talk to us real quick, Daniel Sando. Your 2 minutes. You are muted. You are muted.
I'd like to indicate that the attack today against the Boakakon ticket was well coordinated, because I spent the night in Basel, and Lauren had a very massive meeting with the women of Buchanan today. And this very sedition also went there to disrupt, and they were resisted, and the police came and threw them out. So that was immediately after they had also gone to Senator Johnson's church to disrupt the church service. What we are now hearing is that many people are saying that the CDC government has reached the zenith of its ineptitude, and at this point, they do not care about what people said about them anymore, because, like we can say in Liberia, one that down, fear no fall. Okay, because it is absolutely unimaginable for people to even take the political aggression to the church of all places. Now, like it or not, Liberia is a very religious society. People will not want to draw the church into the regular or the usual political, chicanery. What happened today is it's not just uncalled for. I think to a greater extent, it showcases the quality of people in the leadership of the CDC. Okay, and come to think about it, to have people from the MPP of all political parties, the MPP, which is an offspring of a notorious rebel faction that caused mayhem across this country, that led to the death of over 250,000 of Liberians, and nothing is being done about it. And at this point, we also have to understand that the culture of impunity needs to come to an end, because if anybody should go to protest to the church for the establishment of the war crime code, it should not be people from the MPP. It is absolutely disturbing, And I think this also showed that we should get prepared for more of these attacks as we draw closer to the election, because the CDC has realized that they're losing, from all indication, they're losing the election. And from the frustration, aggression hypothesis, anybody who is frustrated will easily lead to aggression. So what we witness is that the CDC is frustrated. They are losing the election. All of the opinion polls, all of the indication point to the fact that we is not even going to win this election. So they are now using aggression to intimidate political opponents. You have 5 years, 4 months of holy relationship, matrimonial relationship, political relationship with Prince Johnson. When did you get to realize that the time is now to establish a war crime code? Prince Johnson is in no position of influence to establish a code. If the government led by the CDC wants to establish a code, it has to be a matter of choice by President Weah. The leadership, the legislature, headed by two sedition, Buffer Chamber and Abachi, they should be able to lead the fight for the establishment of the War and Economic Crime Code. But for them to have gone to the church today, where people who are non-actor in the political...
Thank you very much. We got to squeeze in. Thank you, Daniel. We got to squeeze in these two gentlemen because Prince Johnson is upset, and the people need to hear from Prince Johnson. Folks, I will tell you this. Do not leave, but share this. Messages reaching us from Jua Howard Taylor herself. We will read these messages on air. And I want to consider. I want you to understand. The messages reaching us, we will read it tonight, that these things were planned. And before I want Prince Johnson to speak, and this is spoon talk for me, I care less, because for Madam Jua Howard Taylor to say in one of her text messages, I respect her. Y'all stop being chicken. People should disrespect our people, and we should keep being silent. Who was she talking to? And I got the text messages here. Madam Jua Howard Taylor telling these folks, I got their names under the text message, and she said, y'all stop being chicken. So if you tell me that these people, they were not instructed by Madam Taylor or some folks higher in CDC, then Liberians need to know who she talking to, who she speaking to. She's telling them, because they're saying, Madam Taylor, you are wrong and these things should stop. And Madam Jua Howard Taylor, the vice president, saying, y'all stop being chicken. People should disrespect our people and we should keep silent. I will continue to read all the text messages because I have them from today. And the text message came in 2:29 p.m. Liberian time, 2:29 p.m. And I will read it though, because this is what I do best. Mr. Wozie, let's bring you in, bring in Al Hussein, wait for our sister Richardson to join in, then we'll bring in Prince Johnson. It's going to be interesting, folks. Invite your friend, special edition of Spoon Talk coming your way. Minister Wozie.
Yeah, thank you, Stanton. And I'm actually shocked by what I watched today on social media. But I was not actually very much disappointed because I know exactly the kind of people we are dealing with. And so I was not surprised by the fact that our people appear in a Capitol building with marching bands and making all kind of remarks full of rants targeted at members of the opposition. I think it's not safe for our democracy. And it sends a different message out because if you are very familiar with electionary activities in Africa, you agree with me that usually the side that provokes is the side that is about that is already sees itself in the defeatist position. And so it's unfortunate. I think that attack was uncalled for. And what I want to remind our people is that this government is not prepared to fight war. That is clear. Let's leave all the body men that passing around with gunting that Hollywood in. They do not have the capacity to fight. That is a clear thing. Now, what they know how to do is to succumb to disarm an EPS officer and shoot him point blank in the head when he doesn't have an arm. They know how to execute surveillance, not to stay on the front line to fight, because most of them do not have the requisite military profile to fight back. So I think what is happening now is that somebody is trying to intentionally provoke so that a saver or hero can start, then they find somebody to shift the blame on and maybe cancel the elections. And so it's unfortunate. We all know Senator Prince Johnson is a decorated, battle-tested, first-class military personnel. To go into his private premises, threaten him, insult him, and say all kinds of things. Now, we are the ruling party. If we want to call for a war crimes code, the boy is in our court. We control the legislature. So you need not go to somebody else's house to say we want war crime code. At the church, you establish a code. What kind of stupidity is that? What kind of hooliganism is that? What kind of lack of patriotism? What kind of lack of wisdom is that? You know, I'm totally disappointed. I'm totally disappointed. And I think this is unfortunate. And it has sent a message to the international community about who we truly are. And it's about time that people rethink. And this is going to maybe give the opposition sympathy votes more. Because now, those in the glass house are now serving as a potential threat to the peace and security of the state. We witnessed, I personally, even as a civilian, I condemned the attack on the university students. I was insulted. My mother was insulted. My father was insulted. And they said all kind of things about me on social media. Even some of the government officials call me an opposition because we have a lot to lose. Some of us coordinate CDC propaganda, mean screen. We play a pivotal role in the process. If you Google my name, you'll see. The record is available.
Minister Woolsey, thank you very much. Again, folks, we are bringing Prince Johnson on shortly after Al Hussein Wafadika and Dr. Francine Chenoweth Richardson will be bringing in the senator from Nimba County, Senator Prince Yedu Johnson. He will speak to the nation tonight. Like you have never heard him speaking before. We also received information the president of the Republic of Liberia, Dr. George Manawia, placed a phone call to Prince Johnson. Prince Johnson accepted the phone call, and he will talk to us about the phone call that was placed to him. We want to say thank you for joining us. Thank you again. I don't know who walking behind Woolsey. I hope Woolsey is home because that person here looked like a female hand. So we saw that person and he turned his video off. I got to put him on the spot. I hope Woolsey is home. Or else I would tell my sister, I hope you are home, Woolsey, because there's a female that walked behind you right now. We saw that person. Fadiga, go ahead.
I'm home.
Well, the thing is, look, it speaks, like my good friend Woolsey said, this speaks to the hypocrisy with this government. I remember a couple of years ago, we led a group of Liberians to the United Nations to protest for war and economic crime code. President Weah will go back home, and on the first thing in one of his many sermon, he said, you remember the infamous Bide, driver Bide? I think you guys are still in government by then. Bide, driver Bide, Bide, driver Bide. He gave that analogy. He said that the Liberian people, he said he was in the car when they used to play soccer. Every time they go on the field, they say, driver Bide, with that, our business. So the Liberian people kind of forcing a hand to bring war and economic crime code, but we are all related. That was the president. He's on tape. I wish you could find that tape. It's somewhere in my archive. I will find it. That was the president approach to war and economic crime codes. He has it within his power to do it. Senator Johnson have said on numerous platforms that he is willing and ready to go anytime. Or you do not achieve war and economic crime code by going to a man's church and violating his personal space. What we are seeing from this government is intimidation. It's a scare tactic. And like Wosi said, I will agree with him. If you look at African politics, most time, the people that make the loudest noise, that tend to be more violent, shows you that is the side that is losing the argument. The George Weah cannot tell the Liberian people about propo anymore. George Weah cannot tell the Liberian people or promise them anything anymore because that thing that he had and everybody, the French men say peut-être, that he used to carry on. People like, you know what, maybe he would do something. He cannot say anymore. The Liberian people know what George Weah is capable of. They know that George Weah can build mansion for himself. They know that George Weah can fly a private jet. They know that George Weah can go out of the country for 48 days and come back empty-handed. They know that the country, our economy is down spiral. They know that after 5.5 years, we have not attracted any foreign direct investment. So these are things that they can feel touch and touch. So you cannot make that case anymore. It is disheartening to see that now they want to use war and economic crimes against Senator Johnson only because he's not on their side. It is just wrong, and I'm surprised at Madam. Let me just finish one point. At Madam Jua Howard Taylor, there is a party that is plagued with war criminals. In fact, the MPP, the founder of the MPP, is a convicted war criminal. Who can be more? I mean, international convicted war criminal for some of the most heinous crimes against humanity, you know. So, I mean, it just showed the contradiction. So, Madam Howard, I'm ashamed for her. I mean, she just found somewhere to sit down because she have nothing to say.
Thank you very much. Dr. Richardson, you're going to speak on this one. Then we will place the phone call to Prince Johnson. We'll bring in Senator Prince Johnson after Fagon closes this thing up. We are receiving a statement from CDC. We will read every political party statement and the condemnation. We are seeing that Moba Modu, the chairman of CDC, also put out a statement. Dr. Richardson, please talk to us.
So I just want to say that, as I have done in the past, I condemn the United Party for hosting political activity in the chambers or on the grounds of the Capitol building. I'm also going to condemn CDC for doing the same thing. This is exactly what I was afraid of. The law was not upheld, okay? The code of conduct was not upheld. Some might argue, okay, there's certain area that we often have had political rallies at. If that is the case, then there needs to be another procedure put in for people to get permits to be able to do that, so you can know when a political event is going to be held. Secondly, I also condemn, I think it's wrong, despite the fact that Prince Johnson and I may have different political views on different things, despite the fact that he has political past that is not conducive to democracy in Liberia. I think it was wrong for militants to go to his church. Somebody can say, well, he put a post up welcoming everybody to his church. But when you go to a church, there are certain expectations, there are certain ways that you are supposed to behave. Okay, those militants behave in an offensive way, and in my opinion, they were trespassing, and I think they should face the weight of the law. And that's what I have to say about this.
Thank you very much, Dr. Richardson. Fagon, please, while you do that, James, can you call Senator Prince Johnson? We've ready for him. We're going to be bringing him on. Fagon, I want you to close on this one. I can see that Mo Adi is reconnecting. He will be joining us. We will ask Prince Johnson a question. Folks, you can make your statement, your opinion. Please do not insult. We'll give the last warning to Jackson Raham. If you insult anyone on the show again, we'll have to block you, sir. This is very important. This is a special edition of Spoon Talk. We have to discuss the issue of freedom of religion. The freedom of religion was hijacked today. We will play those videos and we'll play those clips for everyone to see. We will read all the text messages coming to us from Madam Jua Howard Taylor and other folks who are within the CDC government. They are texting each other and they are commenting on the incident that happened today. Some accepting, some enjoying it, and others are condemning it. So we'll read it to you guys. Minister Fagon.
Well, thank you, Stanton. And let me say a big thank you to Honorable Prince Ward Johnson, a decorated militant himself, former field marshal, former warlord, former commando and commanding officer of the Independent National Patriotic Front, the man who led his battle for the people of Nimba. Today is one of those days, I don't care what anybody say, I really don't care. Prince Johnson exercised the highest degree of restraint that he has ever done in all his years. And why do I say so? For Madam Salif, 12 years. Who heard Prince Johnson in anything? George Weah, 6 years. That makes it 18 years. No one has ever accused Prince Johnson of killing anybody, beating anybody, raiding anybody's house or their party or anything. And let the record set and let the record serve to every member on this panel. You can look it up. The INPFL of all the warring factions was the only faction that was not disarmed. that we saw in public glare and view. Yet today, Prince Johnson walked down from his pulpit. They engaged him on his church premises. They blocked his car from leaving. And he did not give the orders that people who really know Prince Johnson during his heyday would have done. And so I want to say a big thank you to him for exercising restraint over the last 18 years, and today being the biggest. We get news from all over the place. We've now been reliably informed that commandos from the NPFL and the IMPFL are transporting themselves down to Monrovia from Nimba to protect their own. We don't know how far it will go. Even Senator Johnson, that is coming on, said that next Sunday he will be in church and 500 of his men will be there to protect him. And I close by saying, the citizens in Nimba are more than 200,000. We do not have a military that will fight Prince Johnson or the people of Nimba. We have a military that is not even 3,000 strong, and a military that would not be loyal to President Weah if he attacks Prince Johnson. That I know. So today, like many Liberians condemn it, I call on Liberians. When you call, it's better for us to say, thank you, Senator Johnson, for exercising restraint. Continue to do so in the interest of your people. I respectfully submit.
Thank you very much. We have Prince Johnson. Prince Johnson, James, can you come on? Again, we have tried to connect Prince Johnson by way of the stream, but the internet is giving him crazy. Again, I wanted to bring in Prince Johnson live. And once we get a signal to bring him in live, we will. But for now, we will have to go through the phone line. Honorable Prince Johnson, good evening. At your end, it's evening time. Good evening. Welcome again to the Spoon Talk. We hope we can get you by way of video. But for now, we'll use these means as you address the nation through our platform tonight. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, all of the wonderful panelists.
Thank you very much. James, can you please make him more audible, please? You got to be loud from your end. I beg you.
Yeah, he's okay now. Senator, please repeat.
Yes, I can hear.
All right. Thank you, Senator.
Mr. Stanton. Good evening, all the wonderful panelists. I want to say thanks to all of you for your great concern for peace and stability in the Republic of Liberia. I want to tell all of our listening, our home and in the diaspora, that since the end of the war in 2003, and I returned from Nigeria to Liberia, I returned home with an objective to make my honest contribution to post-conflict Liberia in the building process. And since that time I came, I was elected. I've been in the Senate 18 years. There have been no problem with me and any senator or anybody in this country. I've been very peaceful. I was ordained in the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and I'm a preacher, the servant of the Most High God. And for me, Romans 8:1 says, therefore now, there is no condemnation to those who are in Christ Jesus, who walk not after the things of the flesh, but after the things of the Spirit. So being a child of God, I'm filled with the Holy Spirit. And so I don't go out making confusion. Every day that God grants us to live is a gift for Him, and we must appreciate that gift with thanksgiving. So this is what I do. We conduct services in my house every morning and the evening among my own family. But I was shocked, truly shocked and disturbed. But in the midst of unbearable circumstances in life, in the midst of storm, the tornado, whatever situation, you must exercise restraint. Don't be emotional. And so I ask God to grant me that His spirit of understanding to control my temper. What happened today? More especially when the parties, all the political parties, opposition parties, the ruling establishment, were invited to the Farmington River Conference and signed a peace accord. Peace document, non-violent document, to maintain the peace, to not badmouth one another, to not provoke each other in our utterances. And immediately when that document, that historic document, was signed, coming out from the conference hall, Mr. Weir, the president of this country, who says he's not a politician, which of course is true, started making conviction with Gurish. Everyone saw that, you know that, you discussed that on his own media. And so these guys are up for trouble. Some years back, I was home in Ghana. I slept well. Early in the morning, the Lord took me into a trance and showed me a violent situation where there was a rigged election. Those who won the election were hijacked, and there was some complete trouble. I want Liberians to hear that and to know it and mark it in your head. Don't put it on the paper, you will get missing. So this is why they are out for confusion. I don't have a problem with them. Every time, walk and go, look at all of our listening audience in Accra, Ghana. I was not there when they all went to Ghana and came out with the CPA and the TRC. But during the conference in Ghana, after all the other peace conferences failed, they ended up in Ghana after they had left Switzerland and went to other country. They ended up in Ghana. And the international community, the ECOWAS, the AU, and the UN, they did not force the clergymen, the warlords, any of them, or two actions before those groups for Liberia that were there for the peace talk.
Senator Prince Johnson.
Senator,
Senator, please, Senator, can we come down to what happened today? Because you know this is an emergency program.
Today I went to church. I prepared my sermon, my message to be delivered. And you know when BP Taylor spoke the other day when she was addressing our hooligans, and she brought in 2 buses, beating drum, marching band, disturbing our joint session, she spoke regarding me in a negative. So the press called me and I said I would not respond, but I will do that on Sunday. Because the Bible is a book of books. It's a book of portrait, it's a book of science, it's a book of politics. And so I said I will respond today. I think this is the reason why she sent those hoodlums to my church, to my own premises, to disturb, and they truly disturb. The children, the little children were in the children department, and they were being, giving lessons, Bible lessons. And someone came and told me there were a group of people in red and blue berets gathering at one point, but there was email at the church. And I said, well, I don't have time, let me preach. Where they were and came right in front of the church building, disturbing. So the musical instrument that were being played inside, and we couldn't hear outside. They were disturbing, chanting slogans, disturbing. And it was very bad. People started running away because some of them had a single barrel pistol and magnum. Small, this European pistol they had also. They were armed. So they were talking, insulting, and walking.
So, Senator Johnson, Honorable Prince Johnson, we saw the video and we played the video though. Let's just get to the question for our people to understand what we are doing today, the special edition, because folks, can you tell Liberians, where do you think those folks came from? Can you tell us who are they and where they came from?
These people were sent by VP Joao Taylor and Koji. Because you see, last Wednesday, when I came from work, we started the session very late, and we ended up very late. So I came home, I was tired. I was sitting on my porch when my security came to me and said there was an EPS at my gate who wanted to see me. And I said, but why can't he come tomorrow morning? He said, no, the man said it's very serious. So the man came to see me, he came upstairs on my porch and he told me, keep all your security at your church and also at your house. there is a pending attack on you, assassination plot. Be mindful. And said to me, we all in a place are suffering, no pay, nothing. We hardly get money, but we are quiet because we're not supposed to be in politics. But the voting that is coming, we will vote our conscience. But mind you, people are the security. Just on Tuesday, he told me. So in the night, we put people on security. I got 10 dogs and I got additional manpower here. So for this thing to happen today, he told me strictly 2 hour tiller. He told me using Nagbe and Jefferson Kochi. I implicated Mr. President because he is a commander-in-chief who has failed to bring people to order. Whatever the unit does or fail to do is the responsibility of the commander.
My last question to you, Senator, before we bring in the other guys, my last question. Why would VP Jewel Howard Taylor want, why do you think she sending guys to your church? I mean, what's her interest in going after you? Sending folks?
Well, I thought, Madam Jewel Howard Taylor, you heard what you said. You brought a video that rescue 1, rescue 2. What do they want to rescue? They just want to loot. And Prince Johnson, if Prince Johnson is going to leave the country. What brought me into the picture? This woman got 2 master's degrees. Does she understand herself? She got honorary PhD. What is who is the successor to a president when he dies? It's a VP. Why is she praying for Baka to die?
All right, let me bring in Eugene. Let me Fagon. Eugene, let's do this round. 2 questions. Please be to the question. As you know, we have many, and we need to get a lot out of Senator Johnson tonight. Eugene, you go ahead, sir.
Well, Senator Johnson, welcome. We've been appealing to the Liberian people to continue to appeal to you. And we want to say thank you for exercising restraint today, maximum restraint. But we heard you say that next week, Sunday, your service will be well protected. You are sending for 500 men to come and help you secure your service. Are you going to continue? Are you going to go ahead with what you said today?
Oh, yes. I'm going to. I have discovered that what the security told me is true. And so I'm going to be maximally secure right now. From today, we have informed our former combatants, strong commandos, special forces, who were demobilized and reintegrated. When they heard this news, they were all shocked. So many of them are in Monrovia, some are on the way coming. And I rescued 2 to also help me with more manpower. And so the church will be filled up. We want to take 500 people there just to guide me. And all of these things they do here, my honorable distinguished panelists, is not called for. When I saw Akara Group marching with talks on the university campus, no one said anything. But if I even employ 300 men to go with me anywhere, I got feet of calcium and compound. They will say, PYJ want trouble, PYJ want trouble. So I always maintain myself and act accordingly. But this time, I am prepared because I have been briefed by the security from within that they want to assassinate me, either to get Nimba, because as long as I'm living, all the money they're spending, it cannot work. The Nimba people are very angry. You want Nimba can they vote? They want Kemi? Mr. We are coming. He called me. And I said, who's this? He said, President Weir. I said, oh, Excellency, how are you doing? How you been with the problem? He said, I hear you. You say I'm the one sending people. I got nothing to do with it. I cannot do that. You're my in-law, and we are one. Blah, 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 blah. He explained. I said, Mr. President, you have muted yourself over national issue. The beating of the peaceful demonstration to the U.S. Embassy, you didn't say anything. The invasion of the LU, you didn't say anything. All the mysterious, questionable deaths that occur in the country, you have said nothing. And so you are the one, because you stood in your church and said, I'm a killer, I'm a pusher of Samuel Doe, I'm a killer and pusher. So you open the corridor for your hooligan or your element to insult me. If you want to bring war crime code, bring the war crime code. I'm prepared. You can come to my premises, and they were there today. If I ordered to kick them out, it would have happened. But then two wrongs cannot make one right. When you are in a bad room and crazy mental, you close the other way, don't follow them naked. So I enter restraint. They were even taking it to my wife to attack her. I had to get men to guard her. And they attacked my wife. Oh, hallelujah. They will see differently today. I called for the police.
We're going to pause you right there, Honorable Johnson, because you are now moving another direction that they were going after your wife. But I allow Eugene to ask a second question.
And that's where I was going. Senator Johnson, I personally will not blame you for pushing for self-preservation because of what I saw from the police today. Tell us exactly who you talked to in the Liberian National Police and what was the response and how you see it.
When I talked to 103, after I tried calling other people, no way, I talked to 103. He answered the phone, and I said, this is what is happening. He said, okay, I'm going to refer you to 100. 100, that's the RG, the Inspector General of Police, Padusuli. And I called Padusuli many times. He did not respond, but I tested him that there's a problem that is breeding. The CDC people and the National Patriotic people, MPP, they are attacking my church. They have seized the whole church. And so please intervene as quickly as you can before things go off hand. So less than 10 minutes or 20, I heard that there were police, 2 pickups loaded with police, one parked at they didn't come to the church. They stopped at the ERBC gate, ERBS gate. One was parking between the market ground and the total gas station, right before the junction. They refused to come over. Perhaps they wanted the job to be done because it was a plane attack on me and Yopi Kanga. It was a plane attack. They did not come. It was the community dwellers who augmented our strength to lead me through the plan. Even the plan get outside. I was getting in my car when they blocked the road. It was the community dwellers and some people who helped me to go through them. If they had bought my car, then there was going to be problem.
Thank you, Honorable Johnson. Thank you. Councilor jump in. I'm sorry, Honorable Johnson. We got to run through this thing because it's a lot. That's a lot of questions. Councilor, jump in with your 2 questions. Councilor Pakol, with your 2 questions, sir. Councilor, you are muted. Who do we have in studio, please?
I don't think I have any direct questions for the senator. What the CDC people got to realize is that they stand more to lose if this country goes up in flames. And I mean, when you are in power, you got to make sure you maintain a peace, because if things go out of here, who stand to lose? You. I mean, if, as people are saying, that some people are speculating that they want to cause chaos in order to go for interim government, that's not really going to work, because even if we do not have elections in October and we get to inauguration day, there's no election, the law of succession is with the Senate, because there will still be 15 elected senators. So you're still going to have a government in whatever way you do it. They will not be there. So it doesn't help them. They got to make sure that they maintain the peace. It's in the interest of everybody to make sure.
So I beg, since you don't have question, Councillor, we will get back to you, because then when we get into the discussion, we will make our point. Minister Woolsey, get more Ali, Daniel Sano, and Alpha Dika. Dr. Richardson will come in later. Minister Woolsey, we have Prince Johnson if you have a question.
Yes, I have 2 important questions. First of all, let me commend the Honorable Prince Johnson for the level of maturity and smartness, he exhibited today during that unprovoked attack on his premises. So, Senator, I want to say thank you very much for exercising restraint. I have 2 questions here. To what extent are you prepared to defend yourself? Is the first question. The second question is, what kind of election do you foresee in October 2023?
Even to what extent or what?
Protect yourself. What extent are you prepared to defend yourself?
Yes, that's the question.
Okay. we have former combatants. They were demobilized and reintegrated, and they returned to normal life in our country.
Mm-hmm.
Being a minister and being a senator, they would prefer to protect their senator. When the senator is in danger, they prefer to respond. All of our people in Paisley, wherever they live, on Harvard Street, wherever they are, what happened today? It was on the how do you call it? On the media, the social media. So people begin to run, breaking out. I mean, walking, people running, to my age. Before I could know it, they took a bike, jail bike. I didn't go there, but they came because they saw it on social media. So if I didn't, and they saw it, now if I call them to come to my aid for my protection, it will be more than a normal I will saw today.
Okay, the last question is...
Some of us who command, respect, and people who are loved are the people. And most loved are the people of Nimba and other people. So you can't come to assassinate or to fight or to do harm to the senator of Nimba. You have been making a costly mistake. But in the midst of it all, I exercise restraint because two wrongs cannot make one right. For the sake of the people of this country, this land of liberty, we shall long be ours. We should never go back to the dark days. Otherwise, it will not take me a minute to command those brokers to be kicked out of my premises. But I kept quiet.
Okay.
And I will keep quiet and refer to all the embassies. I will start in tomorrow. We will write the U.S. Embassy, the UN, the ECOWAS, the AU, all. We will write them. Let them know what is happening. Mr. Joshua is not controlling his people. They become hooligans, ruling party people. They don't have discipline. They are ruthless. They are rude. They are lawless. They want war, and there is no war. Why are you looking for a fight where there is no fight?
Okay, Senator. So, lastly, the last question is:
you come to my child to disturb me, and you think you are a hero? I'm a hero because you insulted me, you disturbed me. I didn't say anything. A man who exercise restraint and put patience in front is a man who is powerful, who is a hero. Not a man who fight.
Thank you, Senator.
So the last question is, what kind of election do you foresee in October 2023? What kind of election do you foresee?
We all pray for peaceful election, but I can tell you that document is signed at the Formerton River Hotel. Is a fiasco document because just when they ended signing, coming up, President William showed the breach in our agreement. He breached the agreement. So what do I see in the election? I see trouble from the CDC side. The CDC have always been violent. You all know, all Liberians know. Violent, and the leader is mute. All the time, he doesn't even talk about anything regarding national crisis. We will fight.
Honorable Prince Johnson, thank you. Before I bring in the second set of the team.
A democratic conspiracy to kick them out in a ballot box. But they will refuse. They don't want to go. They want to protect their ill-gotten wealth.
Thank you, Honorable Prince Johnson. Let me bring in Mo Adi. Fadika, you will come after. We go to Daniel Sando, then Dr. Richardson will come next. Mo Adi, your two questions.
Okay, I've had to ask this question to Senator Johnson. How are you, Senator?
How are you doing?
Now,
how are you?
I'm okay. Now, permit me to ask this question, please. Normally, everyone in this country talked about the War Crimes Code and bully Senator Johnson and all of these things. In recent time, I've been hearing you saying, let them bring the War Crimes Code. Can you tell us tonight what is your definite position on the establishment of a War Crimes Code?
Mr. Mo Ali, these people talking about War Crimes Code, you know, when people are not sensible, they are stupid. They went to Ghana and the world, the United Nations, the ECOWAS, the AU, They put the war crime code, here is it, TRC, here is it. They said, no, we don't want war crime code, we want TRC. If they have brought it, I will dance. If you bring it today, if there are no legal impediments in the way of its establishment, if you bring it, I will drink champagne. I will dance. Because I want to know who invaded Nimba country, burn our towns, rape our mothers, rape our daughters. I want to know who brought the 200 babies to Monrovia, raided them in the truck and dumped them in the well upside down while they were alive, buried them alive. I want to know what happened to our people in Lutheran Church. I want to know what happened to Catherton Massacre in Firestone. I want to know what happened to the United Nations compound. I want to know what happened to the JFK massacre. What is surrounding the people? The only outlet was the sea and massacre all of our people. If I came to redeem my people and I went extra mile, outside of the rule of engagement given to me, a teacher, a professor who taught uniform code of military justice to my soldiers, a professor who drew the guideline in keeping with the uniform code of military justice to guide or to govern the activity in warfare, who were disciplining his soldiers for wrongdoing and raping and harassing people's homes. If I were disciplining them and went contrary and did the same thing, and they approved, I'm prepared to go to war crime court. But if you don't do a political a weapon that you're using, when I join you, they are Holy Spirit. When I leave you, they are criminal. When I go to the person, they are Jesus Christ. When I move with them, they are a criminal. And nonsense. Nonsense. Let them bring war crime court and start talking about it. Let them start printing placards. Pass to the channels to gather people in the legislature. Let them pass for the bill for war crime code. Let them bring, am I the only man for 1 year? I'll be glad to go to war crime code and vindicate myself and explain. But if you not intimidate me, harass me, and try to attack me, you can do that all the time. But sometimes you will make my temper for me to lose my temper, and I will get other people to act and deal with you too. It was a pastor. One will tell you, what did Jesus do in the temple? Is there any story that Jesus advised the people to not serve in the temple? I don't have that story. He went there one day and he threw them and kicked all the things out. So if you think I'm quiet because the gospel, because the Holy Spirit has calmed down my spirit and keep me so calm that you will continue taking advantage over me, coming to my church, even to my house, to attack me, that's the last thing they can ever do to come to my house. The next time they come to that church, they will put them out. Because from today, you will have many people coming there to protect that place. Is that good? We are one family in this country. Let them politics divide us. Mr. Weir, I beg you, I told you today, talk to your people to be more disciplined. But have you seen your own defeat? Is that the reason you don't let people do what they want to do? No. We love you. We don't hate you, I told you today. But I hate the system of governance. The system of governance is such that drive people away, that prevents investors from coming to this country to provide jobs. I know how people are suffering. I know how the children go to bed hungry. Some of them take farina and put a groundnut and sugar. That's their whole day meal. So I don't want anything that will suffer them. We don't support this government because you print $64 billion and say you want to take the note from the market, and we give you permission and you print it and you save that money for you and your speaker and your protest and share the money to go and buy votes, to go and buy crowd. That's nonsense. They will eat the money in Nimba. You will never get vote in Nimba. Oh, you want Nimba County for right? Good. Then you want to kill Nimba County Senator? And I'm going to why? What you can do, we're able to do. But because of the second Liberia, we turn our back on violence and I submit totally to peace. So help me God.
Your next question, Moadi.
Thank you. Senator Johnson, my next question is, sometimes back, I think it was in 2018 or 2019, you spoke about the intent of President Weir to rig the upcoming election. Do you still stand by that statement?
Oh, but yeah, but you see, I said that many years ago. What do you see in the voter registration? The cheating has started already. But let us pray and continue to ask the international community to get involved and have confidence in the election commission. I don't want to think that the election commission, chairperson and the commissioners will go the way of Mr. Weir. Did Yahya Jammeh know that he will be kicked out for his own Supreme Court, his own election commission? No. It was a big blow, big surprise that gave him stress and stroke almost. So let's pray for the better. I don't think the international community that is keenly watching that this election commission will display themselves. I have confidence in them. But I wonder why they register small children below the age. So during the election, people will be at the polling centers, they will find small boy with card to vote, they will take it on the land. Because small children are not to vote. They might reach the age. So who offer them those voting cards, we don't know, but we will keenly watch. And every polling center in this republic, we will be there for each other. All the opposition parties will be there. If the election commission comes up with a result that is different from what we have, well, there are legal procedures we take to bring about justice in this. But they will rig. They will want to rig.
Thank you very much. Fadika, your two questions, sir.
Good evening, Senator Johnson. You mentioned that you spoke with President Weir. I know you have not gone into the detail, but I want you to just go into his mindset. Why did he make that call? Was it to clarify himself or to apologize? Or what was
I don't know why he called me, because for a long time now, saying he stood on a pulpit at his church and called me a blackmailer, a beggar, a crook, a killer. He had never communicated with me. So by this time he called, maybe this issue of the invasion of my church and the social media bringing it onto the world, maybe it hit him so hard, because he's a head of security. He's the chief security of the country. He's the president commander-in-chief of the armed forces. So if you cannot discipline your people, they're always going out troubling people, harassing people, and killing people. Because the indictment from the UN is clear. Government and its agent extrajudicial killings. And for that indictment, I think they should be careful to talk to the partisans. You are not opposition. The opposition are trained. Opposition are so disciplined. I have never seen opposition in this country so ruthless than the CDC. I can tell you for a fact. I have never seen that in my life. I'm 70 years old. I have never seen that. Maybe you got some examples, but I've never had. CDC has always acted like they are a law unto themselves, that they are above the law. And we got to instill discipline. We got to instill the rule of law. Respect for the rule of law with attract investors. Fight against corruption maximally. We bring investors. But you've been abandoned as world best, African best, European best. The world has abandoned you. No investors. Nothing is coming. People are suffering. Can you see, Mr. President? Who are your advisors? Is it Trocon? Who are your advisors? Is it Carrasco? Who are your advisors? Is it Finabodo? Who are your advisors? Who? My understanding right now, before we close, is that Emmanuel Shaw, who will be trying his utmost best to advance, him and Mr. President and Emmanuel are not really, really on good terms. He doesn't listen to a boss. There's a little bit distant there. People who work there with the men, we know them all. Different our people. We know them, they tell us every day. So he doesn't like advance. He likes praises.
All right. Senator Johnson, this brings me to my second question. I'm concerned about your safety and concerned of other librarians that have been attacked by the CDC. Based on what we know from the census to the voter registration, I know that election is usually not rigged on the day of polling. The process is hijacked first and then extended to the election. Worst case scenario, George Weah rigs the election. We know the Supreme Court is kind of questionable at this time. what can the opposition do? Because I'm looking at the same scenario of 2017 where the late Councillor Bronski went to court, people drag it here. These guys remove or sit in justice. This may have gotten away with so many things to the point I think he's playing God in our country right now. How? What can you guys do? Lead now, or are you going to do something now, or you want to wait after it happens and then we'll keep going around or go that way? Rubber stamping. What can you guys do as the opposition leader to ensure us?
The census has a problem. They inflated the number of the population in certain areas, and after the census, there should be threshold. After the threshold demarcation, because when you register, when you should vote, none of that was done. So I was told that that census result would not be considered. That we may vote the same old way. So we will bring that up. So we open now. We open on Tuesday. We will bring it up to see how far we go from there, and then you will get to know later. But the judicial system, let us pray that they do the best they can do within the framework of the law to dispense justice accurately. I mean, the way it's to preserve this country from going back into the dark days, because it is rigged election that brought 85 rigged election brought us 89. So when you have a system that cannot provide jobs, that got 70,000 people on payroll, the rest of the people, among the 5.2 million, only 70,000 on payroll, we don't want to live like that in the next 6 years of this old regime? No. People don't want to suffer. What brings about revolution is suffering, is suppression, repression. When you suppress people, only people get the money circulating, while the vast majority get down the ladder, below the ladder, it's wrong. A lot of things can bring revolution. You get the man who want to revolutionize a country, get his support from among those hungry people, jobless people, you know. So it's easier to have more people on your side to join the revolutionary force, because the hunger population is always the highest. But we don't pray for that. We know that George Weah may not want to do that. We know he's a man of peace somehow.
I think first calling Prince Johnson.
That's what we pray for. Peace is what we need.
Prince Johnson, I know you are still speaking. Just bear with us.
Democratic tsunami victory for the opposition in this election. The opposition will join second round. There will be second round. They will get the CDC out.
Let's bring in Daniel Sandel, then Dr. Richardson will come in there after. Daniel?
Good evening, Senator Johnson.
Senator, are you with us?
Yes. Good evening, Senator Johnson. I'm good. You and George Weah, the CDC, enjoyed a very healthy relationship from 2017 up to the time your party withdrew support from the Coalition for Democratic Change for the reasons stated by you. Now, given the numbers we're getting from Nimba, 320,000 plus registered voter, making Nimba to be the second populous county in terms of vote, and that the Nimi of Senator Jeremiah Coon, a son of Nimba County, has further exacerbated the problems, the attacks against you from the CDC. As a senator and godfather of Nimba County, what news are you getting from Nimba? How are your people greeting this news that Senator Johnson has come on a severe attack by the CDC because he doesn't support them, that Senator Coon is named as running mate of JMB, and the CDC continue to attack all of you from Nimba County? How are they greeting the news?
Well, they received the news with discouragement and disappointment in George Weah. They are not happy, very, very much unhappy. They are saying, oh, so you want our vote? And you want to kill our leader by sending hoodlums on him. So they're not happy. And the other thing is this. The Nimba people believe they cannot take knife, split their stomach open, take out the intestine, and put plantain leaf. They will never. Meaning they will always support their own kind. That's the first thing. They will never. And then they know that I took Mr. Weir to them. I told Mr. Weir to them. I said, this is our son, let's elect him. They did. But he broke all the truths. You see, Madam Salim, this sandpaper tool to protect her, the first power he exercised was to grab the woman's son and lock it up for corruption when they are the key. They are everything in the corruption. See the woman's son. Broke the truth. So the people at Nimba are very, very unhappy. Whoever he is sending, the county inspector, former and present, Honorable Bagura, maybe Yelu, Garrison Yelu, all of those people, they are our children. The county called Nimba with the elders and chiefs will never listen to those little boys over their leader. So Mr. Gura is just spending money and they will eat the money because as the money the printer is changing the old notes to new notes. So you're buying votes, you're buying crowd, and forcing them through the country authority to sign resolution and speak on video. For Weir, he's doing a good job. Oh, for him. And trying to get them to invite Mr. Weir to Nimba. Then they will call all the people from the children to gather in the thousands and say, yes, we got Nimba. Now, fake crowd, the voting was deceiving because they will never lead Jeremiah Cole. We don't want to produce leadership. We try you, you fail, we got one post office, and you sack Copper Crow. Copper Crow is from a densely populated area. District 6, Tapetown. The lawmaker that is there is strong. And the people are strong behind Copper Crow. You dismiss the man. You didn't know the member of opposition if he getting job. Consider opposition, NDI if he getting job. So attending a program, I want to dismiss her. The people are angry. So we will make sure that our people don't go behind.
Okay,
Sure.
Thank you, Senator. So my next question, I want to know, you are former chairman on the Senate Committee on Defense, Security, and Intelligence, a very experienced former serviceman, experienced security personnel. What do you think out of the unconstitutional, undemocratic action that the CDC government has been sponsoring through the Turkish attack against the opposition community, all the things they have done to undermine democracy in Liberia? What is a possible security implication this could have on the short and medium term future of the country's stability? How does it affect the country's stability?
Jacob Koloba appeared on this show many times and told you how ineffective the legislature is when it comes to the president in this country. He is imperial, very powerful. Sometimes after session, most of those lawmakers go to the Jamaican resort, sit with the president, drink and laugh and joke all night. So there's nothing much that this legislature can do. What we cannot do for ourselves because of the insecurity, that is why America is coming up to help us bring all the facts. What the Americans are saying right now about the extrajudicial killing, everyone here knows. The clergy people know, the church leaders, the bishops, the apostles, the pastors, evangelists, they all know. But none will speak because of insecurity. They're scared for their life. So, but we will see. This time, I'm sure the country has reawakened from its slumber, and they will exercise their democratic rights in this election coming. Because the downsizing, equality harmonization, cutting of salary, the people are suffering. When you're making $45 or $75 and living things where you got to go to grocery, finance ministry to work, you spend more for transportation than you get per month. And the people will not want to live in that kind of hard condition. But the people are prepared to vote this man out. Take it from me. And when that time comes, and you don't win, and you rape, they will come out. They will come out. You bring the truck, with the high water cannon to waste on them. You send the police to shoot. I have strong belief, and I will say it today, unless otherwise, that this military is not the old military of the 18th century. This military is well trained. They have master degree. They are well educated, and they know between wrong and right. And when they were taking oath, they said they will not execute unlawful orders. So we'll see what happens. Only the police that is the problem because they train their own people and the police become a regime police. And we see a lie.
So, Honorable Prince Johnson, let's bring in Dr. Richardson, who asked the last question. Today is Sunday. Let's bring in Dr. Richardson. Dr. Richardson.
Doing a job to establish, to accomplish the mission. Either assassinate me or wound me or break my arm or something before you come. Why were you back at the ERBS gate? Why?
Senator Johnson?
But Senator Johnson. Liberians are prepared for a new change, for a new regime. Madam Joa was saying, rescue 1, rescue 2. Why do they want to rescue? And they want to loot. But the looting is already going on. We want to rescue this country from economic vampires. We want to rescue the country from ritualistic killers, extrajudicial killers. We want to rescue the country from massive corruption, etc., etc. And it will happen in the name of Jesus.
Okay. Senator Johnson, this is Dr. Richardson. Thank you for restraining yourself today. I'm sorry that you and your congregation had to go through this dramatic experience. My question to you is, what inferences did you have to believe that it's Koji and the Vice President Taylor that sent the militant to your church? I'm just curious.
How do I know?
Yeah, how do you know?
So, when I tell you, I'm a security man. I cannot join my informer. But the person who came to me, I just told you earlier, is an EPS officer on the mansion or assigned to the very vice president office. They are made there. So now decide and think about which one.
Okay. Oh, that's fair enough. I just like facts, that's all. My second question to you, I listened not attentively to your press conference today, and you can help clarify my comment to you. I heard you make a comment about meeting Jua Howard or even seeing her with money in Nigeria. It was something that I had not heard before. Do you care to clarify what you meant? I mean, there was something about meeting her with tons of money in Nigeria.
You know, you're American Liberian, so you're serious English. Please repeat.
Echo. So, okay. So you say you are. I heard you say today.
Yes.
Let me repeat myself in Liberian English now. So today when you're talking,
I can hear you now.
Yeah. Okay. Today when you're talking during a press conference, I know you're kind of nervous, but there's something that I heard you say, and I never heard it before. I just want you to help me understand it a little better. You said about either money business and Jua Howard in Nigeria, tons of money. I wanted you to clarify that.
Yes, thank you. Okay. You know, Manachanawe and all my great panelists, Liberians living in Monrovia will bear with me. That the Central Bank of Liberia was in the white flower into the house. This is where they had the bank. I don't know why they transferred it from the Central Bank there, but it was there. So in Nigeria, I visited the Murtala Mohammed Airport. I think I escorted someone to go travel to different states. And I met Madam Joa Taylor there with 50 suitcases. Black. I've not seen those suitcases before. Money full of it. And the man who brought was one Peter from the Liberian embassy. And he was guarded. They flew from Togo. And they came to get a special flight to go to Calabar. I will tell us money they have here for the bank. That's the money when he was running away, when Obasanjo was going to America, and Bush said he didn't want to see Obasanjo until the term over. While Taylor was running away, that's the money they caught at the border. And that money was not returned in Liberia. It was between Obasanjo and Madam Salif.
Thank you.
So Honorable Prince Johnson, before you leave, I beg you before you leave, how's your wife? Was there any casualty, any injury at the church? Can you give us an update of your members?
Yeah, Stanton, my wife is so brave. She has spent 30 years with me. She was not a soldier, but lived with me during the war. She witnessed everything, even when we stayed the attacks on her. She's so brave. She said to me, "Don't give in, go preach. Go preach. What the hell is it? Go preach." But when I got back on the podium, on the pulpit, the people have run away. The women, some members are gone. So I said, okay, let us just pray and then go. But nothing happened to her. She's well. The children are well. They are okay. If they had touched her today, our supporters were going to retaliate. That would have been beyond my control. So that would be.
You are calling for 500 men.
To caution this government to be more careful.
Question.
Yeah.
You don't want trouble, please.
Yes.
Thank you.
Are you putting this? Are you putting this under the feet of President George Manawia?
Senator, question to you.
Are you putting this under the feet of President George Manawia, or you have accepted his phone call and you think now he's not involved? Can you tell Liberians that the phone call the president placed to you, Senator Johnson, was enough, or do you want him to do more?
No, Senator, I'm older than George Weah is my son. He's just 55, 70. And my first son is the same age with George Weah. That telephone call cannot convince me that all is well. I know people who can throw stone and harm. I know people who know peaceful but violent underneath. The heart of a man is extremely wicked. Who can know it? Who knows about? Who knew that Gifted Lamanda would be there? Who knew? Who knew that Joshua? And the strange thing, Stanton, Joshua was the first cousin of Joe Awatella, the VP. And Ines was the brother from mother and father of Nathan Follow Maga's wife. And Gifted Lama, who married to Say Lama from Nimba, Say Lama is the commissioner for West Point. So all your leaders and people, they just disappear, questionably. So with this and the American, and I knowing too, an American proving it, that is an extrajudicial killing that took place. A phone call to tell me at that part of it, no, I can't take it to be true. I must always guard myself and always be on the light and blow the alarm when things go wrong.
Can I ask one question?
Was there a phone call or visit from Joseph Yima Boaka or any of the opposition leaders? Can you talk to Liberians? Who visited you? Who called you from the opposition?
I want to take this public media to tell all of the opposition parties thanks for their great concern. The old man, our father, Joseph Boyka, the former VP and our incoming president, he immediately responded, condemning the act. Those who have not done it, we do, because it happened today. But I thank all of you and the Spoon family. Today is Sunday. Normally you don't come on the air, but you create an extraordinary time for the Liberian people to know what is happening. I want to say thank you.
Can I ask one question, quick, Senator Johnson?
For your advice, they have control over your people. They have control. They are rude. They are rude. They arm themselves. So the police well armed. Those arms they brought, they are conventional, but they're not for warfare, for assassins. Weapon. To be used by assassins.
Johnson, I beg you, I know you got to go. I beg you, just take the last two questions. Folks are asking, and Fadika will take us home. Your 500 men you are talking about, you are not talking about men coming in the city with arms. Can you be clear? Those 500 men, former combatants, you are not talking about any violence. Can you be clear?
No, let me make it clarity.
Thank
The
you.
same way I cannot break and pay tax to carry him to go disturb the university of our children. That's how the people of Nimba, our former supporters, our strong former combatants, who don't care about respect rule of law, will guard their leader from being disturbed by hoodlums. When they see their presence, they will not even come near. Because I think my understanding of this CDC, they understand the language of violence. But you see, the violent time for me is over. Christ has stepped in. My heart is changed. 2 Corinthians 3:17, where the Spirit of God is, there is liberty. So no more violence, liberty from fear, liberty from violence. So you are now a child of God to administer the word of God to the unbelievers. You can't be preaching and then be doing the wrong thing.
All right, Senator Johnson. Senator Johnson, couple of years ago.
Prepare to defend me.
Senator Johnson, couple of years ago, I think about a year ago, the current Army Chief of Staff, Senator Prince C. Johnson III, he made a threat against political actors, especially people that whenever there's that during the election, if there's any violence or anything, that the Army will want to step in, and that caused a lot of concern within the opposition community. Have you call him out? I know I don't think the Senate ever called him out to explain that, but that has been a concern for a lot of us out there. And do you think, I know you praised the son, but do you think that the Army want to side with this president just in case that something happened after October 10th?
I don't know what the amounts are, but I think this army is disciplined. Are you there? Yeah, this army is disciplined. They have American orientation, well trained, and they took oath not to execute unlawful orders. I believe in the Minister of Defense and the Chief of Staff.
That's the point.
It's a wonderful step. And so let's watch and see. You heard what the Chief of Staff said before, that those going for elected posts should go take drug tests. If we ask specifically mentioning anybody, I think the president should go for drug tests, send leadership by example. Everybody should go for.
Thank you very much, Honorable Prince Johnson. It's good to have you. Again, we want to say thank you. Thank you very much.
I don't think we'll start with the president. We are yet to see. Let us pray for the best.
Thank you.
But it will mess up. It will mess up. And the men don't win. And you want trouble. I don't think the army want to take over. Because when the president traveled before, someone told the chief of staff to take over. He said no. He mentioned it himself. But they didn't ask him who told you. So I don't think he will.
Thank you very much, Senator. Thank you.
All right, Senator.
Thank you. Senator Prince Johnson from Nimba County. He's been on our phone for the past hour, 15 minutes, folks. We got to let go of the senator. Now, let's talk this thing. Let's get into it. It is important. We heard enough. Before we wrap this thing, we were here for just what? Almost 30 more minutes we got. But give it your best shot, folks. Let me start with Counselor. Counselor, you couldn't ask a question. You want to comment? You heard enough, and you got the whole picture of everything. Talk to us, Counselor.
Yeah, with respect to what happened today, I don't think there was any reason to ask the senator any question about it, because he explained what happened and he was quite clear. The information provided by the video is quite clear, so I didn't think it was necessary to ask him any question on that because the information is quite clear. What I think was stressing, there are two basic things. One is that, as I said before, when you are the government, you have more to lose. So because of that, you have to be disciplined, you have to be law-abiding. Unfortunately, our CDC brothers and sisters have never been law-abiding. When they were in opposition, they're not much different from what they're doing now is not much different from what they did when they were in opposition. Unfortunately, I mean, Senator Johnson was some of the people who saw them and thought they could do better, and they put them in power. So that's the unfortunate part of it. But the way the people live their lives before they became the government is not much different from how they're living it when they are the government. And when you are the government, you have more to lose when you decide to break the law. Another thing I think is worth stressing here, I heard a lot of people, some of the panelists asking Mr. Johnson what he's going to do to protect himself. I think the best thing we can all do is to tune down the temperature. Because when Mr. Johnson started saying, or people start, telling him or asking him about what he's going to do to protect himself and how he was a powerful warlord and blah, 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 you're only trying to create more and more tension. So we have to be very careful how we get those kind of information out in the public, because sometimes people who are not even concerned with the conflict tend to start taking sides because of what they hear. So we have to be careful about that. It's best to tune down the rhetorics. Mr. Johnson did well by being restrained. He did not respond in kind. That's good. But when we start talking about having 500 people come in and blah, blah, blah from other parts of the country to provide support or provide protection, we're only creating the fertile ground for more conflict. And if the other people who are in government, when they see that as a way of reacting, then we get into trouble. Remember September 18, 1998. I'm very sure a lot of you here will remember that. The Roosevelt Johnson, the situation that led to the Roosevelt Johnson fracas, that led to a shooting in the US Embassy. It's quite similar. The tension building, I don't know what Roosevelt Johnson people were depending on, but they started challenging Taylor and people. At the end of the day, there was a massacre that happened on Camp Johnson Road. We have to avoid those situations. So I think it's best for us to tame down the temperature and try to call everybody to be restrained, and we have to condemn the actions that those people took, and we have to start demanding that the government should act against them for behaving that way. We should also demand that the people who they said they had on trial for the situation that happened at the US Embassy, I think it's been 2 years now, we have to start demanding that those people should be tried.
Thank you.
You can't just arrest them and then you bring them to court and then
And I
everybody.
just want us to stick to this. I understand where you're going with that situation, but want to say thank you. Let me bring it back to Richardson, because everybody will have the time. Speak, no interruption, because we wanted this thing down. Dr. Richardson.
There are 3 points that I'd like to make. One is we saw lawlessness again in Liberia today. It was discouraging and very unsettling to see that. The second point is that the government led by George Weah feels that they're above the law. From all indications, calling Prince Johnson alone, Senator Johnson, is not enough. There has to be more. Somebody has to be responsible for this disruption that happened. The law should be implemented right now, or if there isn't any law, I believe that Prince Johnson or the likes of others like him should rush to sponsor a law that would prevent these militants from disrupting church services or hosting political rallies in public places. Now, people might want to separate political rallies from what happened today, but I think that the origin of this crisis that happened at Prince Johnson Church today started from the political activities that happened in the chambers. You cannot do that, and there has to be some kind of curtailing or some kind of management of these rally like carrying drums and marching and singing and threatening other political parties on the ground of the Capitol is just unnecessary and uncalled for. So I think that the rule of law should be implemented and should be carried out to its full extent. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Richardson. Thank you very much for those 3 points. Let me bring in Muhammad Ali. Mo?
Yeah, thank you. Firstly, I'd like to respond to Dr. Richardson's opening comment when she said she condemned the Unity Party for organizing an activity in the Capitol building. And that's what led to what happened today. And she just repeated that. It is unfortunate that in every single conversation, Dr. Richardson will try to drag the Unity Party in. What happened at the Capitol building on Monday had nothing to do with the Unity Party. The Unity Party was not even in the know. We were not the organizers. Staffers of people who are senators decided to welcome them. Staffers decided to pledge support to somebody, a senator who has been nominated and endorsed by the Unity Party as vice tender bearer. How does that have to do with Unity Party? There's absolutely nothing the Unity Party had to do with that. And I will repeat, I support people carrying their political activities at the Capitol building. Except if the law says so, the Capitol building is a political theater. Everyone over there is a politician. And you know, Councilor Magoy, you're right. When you say tune down, we should all tune down the rhetorics. You're right in that, but you know, what I usually hear, it is the government that is supposed to be calling on people to tune down rhetorics. It is the government that is supposed to be tuning down the rhetorics. It is the government that is supposed to be providing security. It is government that is supposed to be ensuring that no single citizen is harmed. But unarmed civilians are being threatened by people who support the government. Unarmed civilians are being threatened by government itself. The government is sending people. If we don't protect ourselves, what are we going to do? We keep tuning down the rhetoric until they come and kill us in our houses. I mean, for me, I don't see anything wrong when somebody wants to protect themselves, because the government that is supposed to provide security for us, it's the government that is attacking us. It's not the other way around. Normally, you see opposition people are the one who will be, you know, instigating things, especially in our place. But in this one, I mean, from what I've seen from 2005 now, from the Ellen Johnson Sirleaf era. But in this one, the same attitude they had in opposition, like you said, is the same attitude they bring. They have not understood the difference between being an opposition party and being a governing party. When you are governing, you are responsible for the security of the state and its people. It is not the other way around. But instead, they are arming hooligans. Go and attack that person because they go and say something. You stood in the Capitol building, you attacked Senator Johnson, you attacked Joseph Boakai, you attacked Jeremiah Kuhn. They didn't send people to stone you. They didn't send people to protest to the Capitol building or to your house. Senator Johnson said, okay, my sector, I will go to my house, my church, and I will respond to you. Then you send people there to go and disrupt. It is the government that should be tuning down. It is the government that should be responsible to provide security for all of us. We shouldn't be talking about providing security for ourselves, but listen to Senator Johnson. He called the police, all the top police officers, the 102, the 101, the 100, none of them will talk to him. None of them will respond to him, and they will sit and watch the crimes being committed, and afterward they say, oh yeah, sorry, our politics. This is purely wrong. We should be telling the government to provide security rather than asking us to tune down, my brother. We can tune down as much as we want to. If the government continues, they will just continue to hype.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mo Ali. Alpha Dika.
Well, just to piggyback on what my good friend Mo Ali said, look, this government, I don't think, like I said, I referenced one clip I listened to of Ambassador Boyka yesterday, and he said something about this government. It's so true. He said this government is still functioning as the CDC political party. They are not functioning as a government at all. They are still in partisan mode, the political party mode. I have never seen a better winner like the CDC. You cannot win it all The people gave you that kind of mandate, and you bitter for the last 6 years. You guys are so bitter, I don't even know what. You are self-destructing. Look, if any president in Liberia had a chance, look, if Ellen had small the chance that the CDC had right now, I think Ellen would have done way more better than what she did. This government have run oppositionless. This president have had nobody really bothers him. The opposition, everybody seems, I think the opposition is the weakest I have seen so far, And I think because people are tired, people have this war fatigue. People just want to live, enjoy what everywhere other countries are enjoying. And I think this guy is taking advantage of it. But one thing I know about the Liberian people, when they get tired with something, nobody will tell you. The only thing I don't like the destructive part of it. But if this guy continue, they're going to be running out of Liberia with fire and stick. I'm telling you, because what I'm seeing brewing in Liberia right now, it's easier said than done. And, when you say, exercise restraint, do this, do that. But every time someone keep pushing you against the wall, it's just a matter of time that you get fed up. I mean, Sun Tzu said this in The Art of War. He said, know your enemy and know yourself. Know your enemy and know yourself. The Liberian people know themselves, and they have grown to know this man. They know what he can do. They know what he has done for the last 6 years, and they are reaching to the point that they cannot take it anymore. And they got to be very careful. You cannot look what is going on in the country. You go to Liberia, the country is expensive like hell. Not only that, our women have been reduced to destitution. I mean, how can people live like this? Even Charles Town were in that country, they were never like this. The country is so hopeless. Can you see? And you're still trying to push it for. One thing I know is clear. Whenever you see people in the ruling party fighting too hard, doing the most, you should know that they are losing the battle. They are losing the battle. They have lost. It's just a matter of time now for us to seal this deal. And the only way we can seal it, I will say one thing to the opposition. Every morning we get on Facebook, I don't even see you directing your attention at Joe we are yet. Every time, come and do that, what I do that, and sometimes my other folks on the ANC say, I don't know what you guys want. You guys behave in the ruling party. Because everything it seems like in an attempt to weaken this man who is clearly the front runner, you guys seem to be attacking him and running all kind of baseless things. I saw this other one that's saying he this and that, pacemaker, all the different campaigns that you guys are running. You could do better by supporting your candidate, performing his agenda, since he's supposed to be the most credible and the most knowledgeable that have all the something. Tell us about his plan. Tell us about this master plan that will make him win an election. Stop attacking your opponent. We got enough ammunition to direct against President Weah. Spend tomorrow morning against what is happening right now. Rather than you're taking your time finding error means, because let me tell you one thing, even if Ambassador Boyka is not in the race, your guy will not even count it. I can say this. The Liberian people can repay you for everything that you do. And our people, they are very petty when it comes to that. They will mark this against you. If you think that you have a candidate that still a chance, tearing the clear front runner within the opposition is not the way forward. I'm watching all the opposition, other political institutions. I'm yet to see them attacking Ambassador Boyka like the way our friends in the CPP are doing. You wake up every morning, it's like the cup of tea. They are directing it. That will not make your man win. And I think that some divine hand coming from heaven to make him president is not going to happen. Let us direct our attention to make sure that this president is a one-term president.
Thank you very much. Thank you. We appreciate it. Daniel, Sando.
Well, thank you, CEO. And I would like to begin from where most stop. I can understand when Dr. Richardson sounds the way she does. Maybe she's not back home, so she's not pretty much acquainted with the reality. But to even tie the aggression that was meted out in Buchanan today and in Monrovia against Senator Lawrence and Senator Prince Johnson to tie it against the program that was held at the Capitol building just speaks to the fact that people don't know what is happening here. The first thing we want to say here is that the CDC as a political party has found it difficult to transition from a radical political movement in opposition to a governance mechanism after winning election. I can go on and on to name incidents of violence that have been perpetrated and sponsored by the CDC. As early as 2018, the by-election in District number 13, I was there. I could have died. What prompted it? Because people in the CDC believe that violence is the only tool at the disposal to intimidate political opponents. We also saw the disturbing video from District 15, Tida Ure, a very brilliant young woman who have died only because CDC didn't let her participation in the election, because George Weah had already instructed his people to go and flog that lady. She almost died. Look what happened to Dara Zero in 2020.
Not a leg gap, please.
Look what happened to Delo in 2020. So
hold on 1 minute, Daniel. Dr. Richardson, it was the remark of the president. That's what the president said.
Yeah, no,
I know.
He's quoting the president.
I'm sorry, I didn't know he was quoting the president. He didn't use. I did hear that it was referring to women as a leg gap.
All of the things we're talking about here, just point to the fact that the CDC has not been able to transition from that radical movement to a governance mechanism that won election to govern a country. So you can try to justify the action of being politically intolerant and violently oriented to anything that happened at Capitol building. What happened at Capitol building, we said it yesterday, it's a political theater. Even the last time when president, we are nominated, every time president, we are nominated, people go there with jump, the petition people, the cheer people. So it's not strange. It's not strange. What we should now begin to do as opposition political parties is not to in any way kind of give credence or support to what is happening by justifying it. I'm very clear that what happened to Senator Johnson today at his church is absolutely wrong. It is a state-sponsored attack against key political views, because I just narrated what happened in Basel today. Senator Lauren had a very mass meeting with the women, and the CDC guys were also there saying they have paid for the venue, and so we should get outside, and they were resisted heavily because the police station is right adjacent the fairground. So they couldn't succeed in doing that. So they are jittery. They are jittery because I know it is painful. They are jittery. They see themselves losing power. They see themselves losing power. But we cannot sit armlessly and allow ourselves to be trampled upon. I think the utterance by Senator Johnson to say that he called it on people to protect him, it is his right. It is his constitutional right to self-defense. When the government that has the biggest monopoly over violence is targeting people deliberately, and you sit there when you become victim, I mean, your left cannot be retrieved. So I think he has got the right to protect himself. And I think this goes to every mainstream opposition political leader. You need to protect yourself because you cannot.
Before I leave here, and the same question will go with the last group that need to speak. Daniel Sano, real quick. Strong opposition. Yombly Kanga Lawrence Liberty Party. We know your history. Let me ask you, do you think the opposition, all of them, they are afraid of CDC?
Well, I don't think we are afraid of CDC. What I do believe is that some of us have got a fair appreciation of where violence has taken this country. Most of the people in CDC have not seen him be starved to death. Most of the beginning in CDC were people who were born in the late 90s, early 2000s. So they're not seeing people intestine ripped apart and they create roadblocks and they got to ask you what's a trap. You stay on that side, you stay on this side. So I can understand why they are acting the way they're doing. But some of us who have read a page of history, we are mindful because we know that violence cannot take this country anywhere. We're not afraid of them.
You know my question. The reason why I'm holding you down, they went after Soup 3 times, Sabu Unit, all of them 3 times. Opposition were quiet. Akaris Mose Gray, march at the university of Liberia campers. You know that story. Opposition were quiet. They did a lot of stuff and continue to do stuff. The rice price, $3 million went off. Women jumping over the fence crying. Opposition remained quiet. They played a diplomatic role. So I'm asking you, and I will ask Fagon and Minister Woolsey, especially Fagon and Minister Woolsey, do you really think that the opposition can stand up to CDC? Do you really think that they have the
opposition
mindset?
This opposition.
Stanton, will you allow me to come here a little bit?
Yes, you will speak on it too. Because the question is very important. You will speak on
this
it too.
Opposition has stood the test of time. This opposition has stood the test of time. Not only that we have been the most sophisticated in recent history, but we stood the test of time. We stood up to the CDC-led government, except that we have not done it the way they have done it. Okay? We have not done it the way they have done it. You bear witness with me that the way they are doing it is not the best way. So do we sit supine and watch them to succeed in doing what they're doing? No. When they tried to intimidate the law, people went to the polling places, voted, and waited for the result.
But that's the diplomatic means. Listen, I know you when you speak, when you fight for Yomdi Kanga Lawrence, the senator. I know you. That's the diplomatic means. Let's go to the poll. Listen, Fagon, I will come back to you guys. We got to end this thing. Minister Fagon, I know you come in, but I will ask you this question, and please start with this question, right? Even senators, lawmakers that call themselves opposition lawmakers, they cave in at times. Are you sensing fear that those oppositions somehow, somewhere, they're afraid of George Manawia? Some of those things that are happening, we put it on the president, but sometimes the president, he doesn't know that what people are saying it. Koji can do anything he want to do, and we just come back, the president will call him, you know the story. Akari's girl will ignore the advice of the president, or maybe the president will encourage him. Do you think these guys, they can take upon themselves and do anything because opposition are so weak?
An honest answer to you, very truthfully from my heart, it's simple. You have about 4.5 months to go before you know who's going to be your next president. And what is happening is that the little boy who took his football on the field, and by the time the post say, okay, my man, sit down, we're not putting you on the team, he pick up the football and run away with it. This game will not end in confusion. The resolve of many, I'm not from the opposition. I'm not deep into the opposition. But the fact that they've tolerated it for 3, and then when they came to 4, they said 2 more years remaining. Then they came to the 2 years, they said 1 more year remaining. Then they came to the 1 year, they said 6 more remaining. It has followed them. And now they see a clear pathway to rescue the country from these guys. I hope this is not the time you give me to respond, but rather to this particular question, because all my colleagues had the time to respond.
You should have your time to respond thereafter, but answer the question.
So you got about 4.5 months to 5 months to go. And these guys want the game to end in confusion. So when we ask, or when the Liberian people ask, I mean, who won the game? The men were leading 5-0, man. But again, in confusion, the game will be rescheduled. A semblance of interim government. What benefit will it give now to the opposition? With 4 months to go, and clearly they are in the lead. Unified, they will be in the lead. Even separated, there will be a second round. And if they put themselves together, that would be it. The question here, are they willing to risk a peaceful return to power? Or will they go ahead and fight so there can be an interim government? Because what you saw today, if Prince Johnson had responded as you know Prince Johnson, there would have been at least 75 persons dead to 100. Would have been dead. And then at the end of the day, you would not take Prince Johnson because it was provoked and it was an attack. And then the Nimba people would get in. Then we know what will happen after that. Is that what you want? No. So they keep avoiding. Look at Prince Johnson. They surrender the man car, right? You can say in the man horse because the church is not far from a horse. And the man sitting in his car and his men are all around, but they did nothing. That is unlike Prince Johnson. But that's what you do when you have a mission to complete. And that is to remove this person from power. They are not afraid, trust me. And there are way too many. Then, how many men CDC got? How many men compared to the 20 political parties that if they assemble all their youth groups, what do you think is going to happen? So it's just like, you know what? It's 5 more months. You're being patient. 5 more months. You're being patient. And I think that's what they're doing. It's not that they are afraid. They're way too many, and they outnumber the seditions.
So go ahead. Talk to us about what you heard from Prince Johnson.
Well, I think Mo Ali have corrected the situation with my sister, Dr. Richardson, because clearly it was not the Unity Party. And I think my other panelists have spoken well. I beg to differ respectfully with my brother, Councillor Pagoy. You know, when you say, I think we need to tune down the rhetoric. No, we learned about the 500 men today before we came here from Prince Johnson. It's on tape. We also learned about the guys coming from Nimba. I think you saw Witherspoon reading the text messages and what have you. When we know what rhetorics are. They are persuasive speech or writings. We don't need to go to school to define it. How do you tell people to tune down the rhetoric? When yesterday, Akara's great was celebrating his wife for graduating. Can Yiswa do the same for his daughter? Bate Yiswa? Can Gepti Lama, Abba Peters, can they do the same? You said people should tune down the rhetoric. Can that happen? How do you tune down the rhetoric when Gray is going to march talks on the university campus and beat up the students brutally, dislodge them from their own campus? You want to tune down the rhetoric? You want to tune down the rhetoric when people go in from the U.S. Embassy, students from the university, got nothing to do with you. You send talks to beat them mercilessly to the point of death, as in the case of Walter Sisulu, the great student activist. You want to tune down the rhetoric when you are attacking people, churches, as in the case of Prince Johnson today? You want to tune down the rhetorics when people are getting missing in the country, like the 3 missing boys? You want to tune down the rhetoric when right after the elections, Alfred Donald from Grand Giden, the election magistrate, will go missing, killed, not found? You want to tune down the rhetoric when at the end of the day you're looking at a political opponent in contravention of Article 14, which I read clearly here. You go not on the road, onto his premises. More so, you chasing partisans like the Liberty Party, like what Daniel said, District 18, then District 15. You want to tune down the rhetoric? You can't be tuning down rhetoric when people are dying. It's not rhetoric. It's action that's been taken. But in this case, we're not calling for action. Prince Johnson said he will protect himself. Is that bad rhetoric? We are saying that, oh, that people are coming to protect you. Is that bad rhetoric? I think the rhetoric part is not there. The action on the part of the ruling establishment. And I'm happy Dr. Richardson is listening, because in Grand Gide, Zwedru, Yeke had gone to escort Alexander Kumis. How do you tune down the rhetoric? They were badly attacked. So, by whom? By the same ruling party. I would say to you, what I heard from Prince Johnson today satisfied my heart. He exercised restraint. He said he will protect himself. But of all he said today, he will remain peaceful. He will maintain the peace. And he's going to make sure we get to elections. But he will protect himself. And I think he's entitled to that, Stanton.
Honorable Fagon, we appreciate your thoughts. Wozi?
Yeah, thank you very much. I sat down and listened very keenly to all the opinions of our fellow panelists. But before I speak to your question, I'd like to first of all correct the councillor. I'm sure some of the panelists will agree with me that maybe the councillor needs some orientation to understand what it means to serve as a panelist. In the first place, when you say we need to tune down the rhetorics, we're not trying to handle rhetorics here. Our job is to first of all get a clear understanding of what the interview is thinking. Because the question I asked was intended to get a clear understanding of the magnitude and ramification of how the interviewee understands what happened, of what happened. So that's why I made that remark. And so it's important, right, for us to take into consideration lot of other issues. All right. So one of the major thing there is that the issue that happened at the church. It's clear that Senator Prince Johnson is going to respond, but he does not want to respond militarily or in the way that people think he will respond. The people of Nimba will definitely protect their senator. We've said that over and over. And so I don't think the opposition is afraid of our party, the ruling party. I think our major problem now is we are our own problem. And like I indicated earlier in my introductory remarks, in the political process, like what we are about to go into or what is ongoing now in Liberia, the side that will provoke other people is the weakest link in the process. And that's the clear message. So if you show you are about to win or you're going to win, you shouldn't be sending people to go and provoke the side you think you're going to defeat. So it would just be like a lion ignoring a rat. That's what you should be doing if you are sure of winning. So you can only provoke when you think the person is moving so fast and you got to bring them down, like you are running and you got to kick your opponent from the back. When you are not supposed to kick them from the back, you're supposed to be jogging. You're supposed to be running to reach the winning lines. That's what it should be like. So one thing that is happening that is not safe for the political future of the CDC is the fact that leaders of the party will sit back. What happened today was fully coordinated. I can tell you that, and I want my fellow citizens to record this or keep the version on Spoon Talk. I know very well what happened. And those boys, I know all the boys who went to Prince Johnson's church. I know them. They are not people who can just do things on their own. They cannot even afford. A lot of them are unemployed. A lot of them are people who will go from minister house to a minister house to get petty cash. So they couldn't just show up in front of Prince Johnson's house like that and be talking like that. So first of all, they were intoxicated, most of them, and they had gone there prepared to stone that whole building down. Anybody responded, and that is not good. Look, you have diplomatic outlets in the country. To treat the country like you bought it from a group of people and you can do anything you want to do, that is sad. Some of us did not sign out to support a revolution for people to use it, to turn the environment into a tyrannical or dictatorial environment. So we got to stop that. We have a lot of things on the line. Why are we talking? We're talking because people know us everywhere. Even here in America, we come on an attack every day, almost every day. People who are responsible. Everything that happened back home, people say we are the cause. So when we appear on talk show like this to talk, we're not talking because excuse me for the expression, one other nincompoop say, that generational envy. How do you tell somebody who, when you went to the diamond mine to mine coal or diamond, that they envy you? What you have before, we put you there. We give you the power. How do you use our effort to insult us and say we envy you? As if you were wealthy before we knew you. You were poverty stricken. You never had anything. Now you can sit down and buy $1 million house on your own, $300,000 house on your own. By our effort, we all voted to put in the government, to put into place the government that gave you that power. Now you tell us we envy you, that generational envy, as if you were wealthy before this government. So there is a future. You have a country. So I just want to answer that question directly, Stanton, that the opposition is not afraid. I think the opposition thinks smartly that they are in the lead. So shaking the tree now will make the monkeys to escape that they want to hunt down. So what do? You keep it quiet and behave as if you're not there. You keep the ambush organized and move very closer and grab them alive. I think that's what's happening. And they are doing it tactically. And with Prince Johnson being a decorated retired field marshal, he knows exactly when to strike, why to strike, who to strike, and at what time. And I think that's the moment he's waiting for.
Guys, real quick, 30 seconds. You choose to answer my question or you make extra point. We are not coming back to you because we got to close the show. We've been here, it's 2 hours, 30 minutes, but I will beg you, give it your best shot, do your closing, real quick, maximum 1 minute. I'm going to throw in the question, but wrap this answer to the question and also your closing. Dr. Richardson, will you advise Prince Johnson now to call for those 500 men? You think he should just quiet things down?
I will not advise him to call for 500 men. I think that it just inflamed the situation. And at this point, we need calm in Liberia. We don't need to have the situation inflamed. But I would say my closing comments, I would definitely call the government to come out and condemn this disruption of Senator Johnson's church to the strongest term. Those who are responsible should be held accountable according to the law. I believe that calling Senator Johnson on the side, like what it sounded to me that the president did to tell him about his disgust relating to the militants disturbing his church service today, should not happen. I believe that he should stand up tomorrow, have a press conference, and put information into the newspaper to announce that he does not support such behavior because of the tendency of that behavior to compromise our democracy. I think that if he says that, it's going to help others who want to take the law into their hands, which is what we have in our country for the most part, a lot of lawlessness occurring. They will kind of inhibit them from doing so. To my colleagues, Mr. Johnson, I'm sorry. And also to Moali, just because you view the chamber as a political theater that should be used for welcoming program, endorsement, and other political activities does not make it right. You know, this is this is clearly an indication that you guys are stuck into a world that is not consistent with what other parts of the world is doing. Other parts of the world are doing. Other parts of the world, nobody goes to a legislative building, a Capitol building, to host political activities there. It does not happen. Okay? And I will tell you a few examples. Yes, it is a political theater in the terms that you use, that it is prohibited to allow the legislature to do their political work. It is restricted to the political work of the legislature. So, you know, this idea of just because something happened, that means that we should continue to let it happen. It is sickening, and it tells me that how outdated you guys are and why we need leaders that should bring our country to a more modern world, because this does not happen. I had took the opportunity to research what people can do in public spaces, taxpayers' money spaces. You cannot go and have a rally or wear your own political button or use taxpayer computers to send information, or even have your own paraphernalia representing your party in public spaces. And if you do, you have to have permission. I've been on the several demonstration at the White House in the United States. In fact, there's a barrier as to where I should stop. And before I even do and go there with the organizations that I've been to, I have to have a permit to allow me to exercise whatever political rights or political comments that I have to do. I don't think that was the process that happened. If they had a permit to exercise those political rallies or welcoming ceremony or endorsement ceremony, y'all please show me the evidence of that. You can't even text from using government property or even in government vehicles. You can't even use certain political jargons or political paraphernalia in government vehicles or edifices. I even called my state representative here after the last show. I called another state representative, and they told me, you are so right. You cannot use public building, public edifices to campaign or make political or public statements such as the one that I send the video for them to see. So political activities such as what the Unity Party did prompted the CDC to respond, and then prompted what happened.
It was not a UB event.
So, Sano, you cannot interrupt her, please. You will have your chance to speak.
Whatever you want to term it to be, rescue one event, rescue two event, okay? That you cannot do that in this modern world, all right? I think that though that event prompted what happened, then the CDC felt like they needed to respond to the UP. Then, of course, we see what is happening now at Senator Johnson's church. And so the last thing I'd like to add, this is why we need to elect a leader in our country that would change the trajectory of this lawlessness in our country. And you know no better. That leader is Mr. Alexander Cummings. And I'm done.
Thank you very much, Dr. Richardson, and thanks for your comment. Guys, please, no interruption. We got to go, please. Let me bring in the counselor, and we'll do this round in this direction. Counselor Bape?
I just want to start by pointing out something. I think we, on a panel, we should be respectful of each other. Mr. Wozi wasn't respectful of me, you know. And I'm waiting for him to give me that workshop he's talking about. So maybe he's far better educated and he understands what it means to be a panelist. So he decided to be insulting. But, you know, sometimes, you know, people don't know what to say. They tend to go to insults. So no problem. But we got to be respectful of each other when we're on this kind of public forum. I will maintain the fact that when you start raising the tempo of rhetorics and start saying things like, this person is a field marshal and all that kind of stuff, it doesn't help the situation. It only helps to inflame the situation. We have to make sure we don't do those things. Because what I'm going to do is going to pit one group of people against another group. If one group of people behaving like hooligans, they're behaving less law-abiding, you have to make sure if you say you're above the fray, you remain above the fray. We have to tune down those rhetorics. We have to stop, you know, creating situations or saying things that will make other people to think that they have to take sides and maybe take up arms against other people for doing wrong things. The best we need to do is to condemn these things, demand that the people who are in power do what is right to ensure that their supporters, their partisans, and even the security forces that are under their control behave properly. But to go ahead and start saying, you know, this person is a field marshal, this person has fought a war before, they have people under their control, they have 500 men coming in, it doesn't help the situation. We are at a very fragile situation presently in this country when it comes to the political situation. The security forces are very weak. It probably, maybe you put 10,000 people in the street right now in this country, you have total chaos, absolute chaos. Whether you bring the army in, the police, or whatever, it's going to be absolute chaos. You don't want to go down that road. We went down that road before with the Roosevelt Johnson thing. In April of 1996, we saw what happened in Monrovia. We almost had a similar situation in 1998 with the Roosevelt Johnson thing. We saw what nearly happened. There's no reason why we should start creating these unnecessary divides in order to create a situation where people may think that they have to back someone up, and other people decide that they also have to back another group of people up, and at the end of the day, we end up with chaos. So I will caution again that we need to tamp down the rhetorics. We need to demand that the government plays its role and protect the citizens of this country. If they won't do what they should do, we call on our international friends to put pressure on them. Obviously, we have the opportunity in October to replace them with people who can serve this country right. And the issue of corruption, the failure to adhere to the rule of law in this country, they are some of the major reasons why we have these situations today. So, I mean, obviously, there are candidates out there who are clearly saying that, for example, Councillor Gonglo is speaking clearly about responding to these kind of things. We need to put these situations under control, and it doesn't help this country if we sit on this kind of panel with thousands of people listening to us and we try to see how we can create more divide by saying things that will bring people to to create more or to create size and then lead to conflict and chaos. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor. Folks, this is the Spoon Talk. You can find us on Fabric, on Super. Again, I want to say thanks to the Liberian people, home and abroad, for appreciating this network and owing themselves onto this network. As we wrap things down, let me go to my friend Mo Ali. Al Hassan going to come in. Fadika, Minister Woolsey, then Fagon will take us home. Then we're going to say good night. For now, Mo Ali.
Okay.
No, I call your name though. After Fadika, you will come in, Sando. Thank you.
Just quickly, I will speak to two issues. Councillor Magoy, the very fact that the opposition, and this is in response to you and the question asked by Stanton, the opposition has been so peaceful. People take it as weakness. The opposition is weak. And the only reason why people will keep saying the opposition is weak is because we are not the opposition that jumps into the street to cause chaos. We are not the opposition that engages into violent protests. Even if we want to protest, which we've done several times, we do that in a very peaceful manner. People say, oh, your opposition, you can get issue statement. We got some of our friends who say, the people that are violent, they understand, but we know the magnitude of violence that we've gone through in this country. That Daniel Sanders said, Stanton, when you are lying down and bullets are flying over your heads, you never want to experience that again. And so even to the extent that we have a very reckless and irresponsible government that will continue to lure us into violence, we will not go there. Now, I like to make this clear. Dr. Richardson, apparently you've been in America for a very long time and you've lost touch of what is politics in Liberia to the extent that you call your American state representative to show him or her a video about Liberia, a country that representative knows nothing about, to educate you, who is supposed to be a Liberian, about Liberian politics. That is, for me, a very sad thing. I will maintain that the Capitol building is a political theater, and I don't see any wrong for staffers to welcome the people who employ them, to welcome them back to work, and to pledge support for one of them. That's one. Two, when you talk about taxpayer money, they use taxpayer money. No. When you are using people's money, the country's money, to go and campaign for your political interest, that's using taxpayers' money. The people, they didn't have to spend any money to tell their leaders, say, we welcome you back. And as a matter of fact, they are taxpayers. They are, in fact, the main taxpayers. They pay their taxes every month. Government cut the money from their salaries. So when you say people using taxpayer money, they did not use or send from government to organize the program to welcome their people back. We have to get these things very clear. And consistently, you see, the Unity Party, well, I welcome the fact that you are consistently campaigning for the Unity Party. I welcome the fact that every show you come on, you will talk about the UP, and that creates interest from the public and other people outside of Liberia within the UP. I mean, so we have to, calm down on how we want to respond to some of these things. Even if UP now that you say that UP. Austin, violence we're not called for, and I agree with Councillor Bagoy. But be that as it may, to the point where people are being attacked and the state security cannot come to protect them, I mean, I'm sure you wouldn't expect them to just sit and be mocked, especially if they have the ability and the capacity to protect themselves. People like Prince Johnson, we've talked about them so much in this country. We've all prayed and talked to them, say, look, y'all keep quiet, y'all keep calm, because we know the capacity those kind of people have. There are people who still believe in them. we should not be poking them. That was the reason why Councillor Kpagoi are particularly asking about this war crimes code. We all here, you and me, we've appeared on show several times. We call for the establishment of war crimes code. I wanted to particularly hear from him tonight on his position, whether he opposing the war crime code, whether the war crime code will not come. Because I am an advocate of the establishment of a war crime code. You and I have done on that advocacy for a very, very long time. And so whether the person support to us or not, that support must fall in line with the policy that we have on the establishment of the war crimes code. So if the government feels that they want to catch Prince Johnson through the war crimes code, we all will be happy. Go and bring the war crimes code. Because right now, they are the ones in power. They are the ones who can authorize. Submit it. Let the legislature vote on it. Let's establish it and bring all of those who allegedly committed crimes in this country to face justice. Like Senator Johnson said, so he can go exonerate himself. He's also interested in knowing all of the massacres that took place, who were those behind it, and let those people come and face the justice system. But do not consistently intimidate people and attack people all in the name of you bring war crimes code. The man preaching to each other, you go there, you say, "Who come and bring war crimes code?" You're attacking him. How does that help when you are the government, when you can just bring the war crimes code? And so, like my political leader said today in the statement he issued, we join him to condemn the attack on Senator Prince Johnson's church. It is not the right way to go about it. And as law-abiding citizens, we call on the government to consistently protect every single Liberian in this country. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mo Ali. Let's get to Fadika. Thank you guys for being very quiet. Thanks a lot. Fadika?
Yeah, thank you, Mo Ali, and thank you to my fellow panelists. What we witnessed today should be condemned from every side. This is getting out of control. We have seen this pattern over and over with this administration. It seems like there is no end in sight. One of my favorite lawmakers somehow is Yeke. In civil disobedience part of democracy, I think with a united front, we can put an end to this. The reason why sometimes I believe that this opposition is you shouldn't say weak, but I don't think it's necessarily weak. I think there's disunity within the opposition because with unity and with our combined effort, all these things will be stopped. It seems like we're just going halfway way. Whenever time these things happen, we talk about it today and then we forget it and move on to another. So guys, scatter on answer things. Look at what happened at the embassy. Look at what happened with Akaras at the university. How many times will these things happen? Look at Gifty Lama. Look at the unsolved murder cases. Nothing is getting done. Nobody is speaking for these people. It seems like our country has been reduced to the point that everybody fighting for themselves, fighting for their own survival. Nobody really care. So there's one thing that this government have done, and they have done it successfully. They have successfully terrorized the people to the point that they either going to bed 6 o'clock in the night or everybody trying to protect themselves. Because you know what? If you are that vocal person, you might end up getting missing, and there will be no repercussion. So what we need to do is to combine our forces. I don't think George Weah can kill every Liberian when we come together. I don't think he can kill everybody in that country. That even if he with his greater army and something, we need to combine our strength. We know the enemy. We know who is causing this problem, and we know the solution. I know everybody got the side. The counselor, I listen to you and you say, "Oh yeah, we should be something," but sometimes it's easier said and done. No, the only language that this government understands is violent. Sometimes you have to beat people at their game. I'm not saying that we should put people in the street to something, but sometimes you have to be defiant. Sometimes you have to hit the government where it hurt. Civil disobedience to win. Sometimes you have to make them feel uncomfortable. And that we need that leadership, that combined leadership, to make these guys uncomfortable enough to the point that they will understand that the Liberian people are suffering. No, what happened? Every community will know like the people went out, they can't bring light. Every time people go on the street, they block the road, something get done. So that it seems like that's the only language they understand. In as much as we are not praying for violence, in as much as we are not advocating for violence, but sometimes we have to stand up to bullies. And this government is a bully, and I think we need to stand up to them. I submit.
Thank you very much, sir. Let me bring in our dear friend, Daniel Sando.
Thank you, CEO. And I'd like to conclude on this note that those who find themselves within the inner cycle of the CDC and think that they can use violence to suppress political opponents, I just want to remind them that Charles Taylor launched a revolution in December 1989. By September 1990, the rebel forces have entered the city. They have killed the sitting president. The armed forces that Doe had, the armed forces, the pre-war armed forces, far more succeed what we have now in terms of number, manpower, infantry battalion, and everything. The rebel came, they overthrew the government, killed the sitting president on camera, and the chaos was exacerbated. If you think that you have Patrick Sulu as the director of LMP, and you can use the police as a backup force to protect the CDC thought while they mete out violence against political opponents, you can continue. When the war comes, they're not picking and choosing. Some of us will already experience. So you cannot intimidate us. You will not intimidate us. So let it be said that when hell breaks loose in this country, nobody in the armed forces will protect the government. So the CDC government has got an opportunity to preserve the peace of the country, but to continuously use violence as a tool to disrupt political gallery of your opponent is wrong. I just want to say that. And so Fadiga made a very good point. That maybe the people in opposition are giving the CDC government hope a little bit, our friends from the ANC. Because I see all they do every day is to attack, attack, and attack. I've not heard any ANC person even tell me how Mr. Arizona Comey will raise the budget from $500 million to $1 billion. Every day, Joseph Boakai sick, Jeremiah Kun can sell him on parts, they can say the worst thing about a colleague in opposition. You are the ones who are giving George Weah hope. And that's why I said last night that a vote for Arizona Comey in this election is a vote for George Weah indirectly. We know that even if election were to be held today, 2 candidates going to go to the second round. There's nothing dramatic that will happen to change the course of things in this country. Arizona Comey cannot break through. He's a feeder political candidate that cannot break through the political establishment yet. So why not rally around somebody who can remove George Weah? Boakai is the only person in the opposition who can remove George Weah. Instead of going on Facebook to attack him every day for tea, breakfast, and dinner, support Boakai. Because what is at stake is bigger than anybody's political ambition. The least we can afford to do for ourselves is to sit here supinely, do nothing, keep attacking Joseph Boakai, and George Weah comes to become president for the second time. You're going to live without regret. And I see most of the people who are sponsoring these attacks, these unprovoked attacks against the Unity Party Senate bearer, are people who reside in the United States, who from all indication have got nothing to lose, even if George Weah become president. It is wrong. We are on the ground. We know how much it takes to leave food money home every day. We know how much it takes to even buy data to be on the show. Because the Weah government has harmonized everything. So I know most of you in the States, and this is no disrespect to our friends in the States, we're all Liberians. We're all Liberians. I know you love Arizona Comey, but unfortunately, he cannot win the election. The only man on earth who is capable, who is qualified to contest in the election that can remove George Weah is Baka. So let's seize the attack. Let's seize the attack and support a candidate who can remove George Weah, and you'll see what will happen. Thank you, CEO.
Thank you very much. We're going to bring in Minister Wumuzi and Fagon will take us home. Folks, join us again tomorrow, even in my absence from the show tomorrow, or what I will be on because I have a busy schedule. We will all be on the show. We welcome Councillor Lamin Bakor. We welcome Wumuzi, Honorable Fagon, Daniel Sando, Mo Ali, Hussein Fadika, Dr. Francis Chinua Richardson, Raymond Gray, and the rest of the set, that we will be having a wonderful program. It will be very interesting this week. Please join us like you always been, and we'll be having a wonderful show. Minister Wozi, take us to Fagon and make it sweet. Do not attack your brother, Councillor Lame. I don't know where you guys from, but
well, no, the thing is, it's interesting. Well, let me first speak to Dr. Richardson's analysis on the issue of the use of public facilities. I just want to bring us up to date with another information that almost all the public corporations have got political party chapters established. So you got, for example, MPA chapter of Unity Party, MPA chapter of CDC, MPA chapter of maybe ANC. Saying if ANC doesn't have parties, in technically speaking, in Liberia. You got RRA chapter of CDC, RRA chapter of Unity Party. You got Ministerial Complex chapter of Unity Party, Ministerial Complex chapter of CDC. You have Capital Building chapter of Unity Party, Capital Building chapter of CDC. So I just want you to know that all those institutions in Liberia. So it was, I think, a waste of very good time when you call your state representative here to tell you about how to use public facilities. You just Google it instead of taking your phone to call him, or he or she, I don't know whether a female or a male. On the other note, my good friend, Councillor Lamin Bakor, talk about something. He said when people ain't know what to say, they can just insult. You got it wrong. I said maybe you need orientation on how to serve as a panelist on a political show like this, because when you make the inference that we're trying to create what you call a divide, you are simply trying to indict the show of out of some form of incitement. That's the inference you were trying to make, and I was trying to correct you as a political panelist. So you took that as an insult, and then you said when people don't know what to talk, maybe you need to read my history very well. I don't just talk. That's why I don't just appear on platforms. So I mean, I think as a lawyer you use that word wrongly, and maybe you have a contextual definition. You could read more in next time when you're addressing people like, oh God, we know what to say when we appear on platforms. So as a panelist, it is our job to talk about interviewees' profile, the interviewees' thoughts, to provide general analysis based on traceable facts, draw near scenarios, etc., so that our people get to know who we're talking about or who is making the news. So when you serve as a panelist, these are some of the things that you do. So when we call Prince Johnson retired field marshal, this and that, we want, for example, some of the people who are provoking him, who were born in 2001 or 1998 or 1993, they don't know why he did 1990. They don't know his full history because he was not around at the time. So our job is to provide a little bit of background information about the person we're talking about here and his capacity. So if you took that as an offense, sorry, but I think you need to also, look at some stuff behind the scene. So I like to close on this. I mean, I want to encourage all Liberians. Look, although I am a sedition, but I do not in any way support a one-party state, neither do I support any form of extrajudicial killing, money laundering, drug smuggling, or anything that would threaten our country's security. Now, what I think my president, I've been sending a couple of text messages, even to I've sent a couple of messages to Minister Samuel Tuer. Sometimes they disagree with me and then they call us names. But what I owe myself and what I owe the country, what I owe the party, is to flag this issue that are of accessibility to the country. Because mind you, at the end of the day, we have a lot on the line as a ruling party, and you cannot be in glass walls and be throwing stones. Sanu just made the reference. That here, when hell break loose in Liberia, you win power. First of all, you got more to lose. Secondly, you're going to just put everybody's in harm's way. We don't want to come to that point because we got a lot to lose. We got a lot at stake in history. We don't want to go down the drain and go down, in history on the bad side. So we all want peaceful transition. And I'm calling on the National Elections Commission to do everything possible. That job then where you get there and I'm buffering everything. And now something for somebody to go take number and run into the nearest whole number and give it to somebody. It's about people allowing the system to flow. We want a peaceful elections. When the president get re-elected, you get his result. If other people get a majority, you get in their result. Because the peace of the state is in the hands of the National Elections Commission. So we want to call on the CDC as well, our people back home. Let's stop the provocation. If we have problem in our party, let's face our problem. The CDC got a big membership. The thing is, the political asset of the CDC has been mismanaged. That's the problem. That's why you see we're getting involved in all these things. How we live up to the truths that we signed with our collaborators, with our supporters, struggling now for partisans, for support, trying to bring people down, would not have been part of the strategy. How we live up to the commitment, how we live up to the truths that we enter into with our collaborators in the second rounds of the 2017 elections. Because we have good numbers, we're far ahead of the opposition. Now it's almost neck to neck where anybody can take the trophy. Now, so you got high risk. Now we've reactivated the once killed ambition, presidential ambition of Ambassador Joseph Yimon Bwaka. We've now reactivated it because the Blue Revolution has been seized and the wrong people are in close proximity and they are now pulling the strings and pretending to the president that they got the numbers and they don't have the numbers. And we know that. So let's do everything possible to maintain the peace and security of the state. And let us create an enabling environment for our democracy to swell and that all of us will live in peace and harmony. Thank you so much, Stanton. Thanks to Dr. Richardson and to my fellow panelists for this wonderful interactive conversation.
Very interesting, but again, I Ben hate we should take at least 10 calls after Minister Fagon. The people in Liberia, they are ready. They want to speak on what happened. So we have to be fair. At least we should take 10 calls. But I know we all have done our closing, and after the calls, we can just give the last word to one person and leave. Minister Fagon, you go ahead, sir, please.
Well, thank you, Stanton. And let's have some facts as opposed to the fiction. What is the fiction? That the ANC is a political party. That is a fiction. On the paper, it appears to look like they are, but that offensive now will look at me. Oh, we're talking.
Man, you call a woman name, she will have to speak. Or yeah.
I'm not sure I'm gonna say. Look, you see the thing correct and you can call it fiction. Something wrong with you.
Lead the woman, man. Lead the woman.
Okay, so, but I will say that. Let me deal with some facts here. The ANC is a product of the CDC. The ANC came about as a result of a conflict within the CDC, and so thus the name Alternative National Congress. It was headed by Kwame Clement. Its head here in the United States was Yemukai. I was approached, and today that party was purchased by Mr. Kumis. Point number one. Fact number two. Dr. Joa Howard Taylor always talk about Ome Bwaka health. If you were to put a scale down and weigh the two health, Madam Taylor is in a much worse condition or position, and she's vice president today. What do we mean by that? It is not a secret that she suffered from the worst form of asthma. You cannot burn grass around her. She cannot be exposed to dust. You cannot have people with strong center column around her. And if you're in that situation and you're talking about somebody who knows health, then it's bad. It's bad for you. Fact number two. Fact number three. Let's look at some issues. And I was laughing when my friend, Councillor Pagoy, said he stayed meeting the situation of the rhetoric. But he told us about how our security apparatus is weak. 10,000 people can overrun them. What kind of rhetoric is that? He also told us about the Roosevelt Johnson issue and how everything, what kind of rhetoric is that? But for us, we're not saying that. When we say field marshal, it is a fact he was a field marshal. It is a fact that he said he would bring 500 men. We are panelists here. We are not the actors. And today you yourself is a panelist. That's why you talk about the 10,000 and that we don't have the security force or the forces. But to close on this matter, Stanton, the U.S. State Department, after George Weah's visit to Langley, reported extrajudicial killings on behalf of the government, cutting people's salaries. The prices of things increase. Taxes have been increased on the people, but their salaries cut. Basic commodities, basic living supplies increase, no jobs. Now, when you look at the second paragraph of what the CDC released, and it reads thus: the church, which is owned by Nimba County Senator Prince Johnson, had its congregation dispersed. They are bragging, they are posting, following a protest action led by a group of young people claiming to belong to the National Patriotic Party. They didn't say CDC. A constituent member of the coalition. Y'all tell me, y'all who know book. AV people claiming that they were from the Patriotic Party, a constituent member of the coalition, and they are donned in coalition regalia, their berets, their t-shirts, their banners, their flags. Is this the kind of trash you write, like you don't have sense? You say they are cleaning, but they use all your regalia, your berets, your flag, your everything. What did you do? Did you condemn it? You're making fun out of it. And I look at it in my closing. Why it's true that we're asking Prince Johnson to exercise restraint. What I see is my little warning to all the people misbehaving. And unlike the Weah administration that failed to hold Ellen Johnson Sirleaf and others accountable, let it be known to the Liberian people today that me, I continue to say, I see an old man coming. Pokoyokpo. What happened to Prince Johnson Place today is on video. Unless someone on this panel wants to tell me, Eugene Fagon, you are a liar. But it is on video. The individuals are on video. What happened at the U.S. Embassy is on video. The individuals are on video. What has been happening around is all tape. My advice to my former partisans, seditions, those of you involved in all the lawlessness, pack your bag. Don't say I threaten you. Run away now while you can. Run away. Because in the first week or the second week of a JMB presidency, you will be arrested, you will be charged, and you will be prosecuted in keeping with the law. Hear me and hear me well. It's up to you. Me, let anybody say they won't say about me. I say, you're going to run away now. Run away and go. Stand on me and finish my own. I ain't got anything to talk. You run away. Because the second week, they will start picking you up, charging you, and putting you all before the court to be prosecuted in keeping with the law. All I gotta say.
Thank you, Minister Lamin Fagon. Listen, guys, we'll take calls, but I have to be right. Daniel Sando, Mo Ali, Minister Woolsey, or Fadika, every one of you guys called Dr. Richardson name, even Fagon. So I must give Dr. Richardson time to respond. Then we go to the phone.
Look, I said
you
five
have 6 men calling Dr. Richardson name. Dr.
I'm
Please.
trying to get her attention.
But you call her name now.
No, I call her name because I was trying to provide information as well.
But that's why I say you call her name.
You are the hijacker
of the day. The end of the day, you call her name.
No, that means
it doesn't matter.
She's the mother of the show.
Dr. Francisca, you are the hijacker.
No, we don't believe you.
Take her show.
We on her side.
Yeah, that's not true. That's not true.
On her side.
Okay. So you on her side, you want to come Mr. Wayne, Elijah?
No, I mean,
please.
Yes, ma'am. It is such elementary thinking, concrete thinking, small-minded thinking that the likes of Mo Ali, Mr. Sando, Mr. Wazi will present on the show that will make an assumption about who I call. Thinking that I call someone who doesn't even know about Liberia without even knowing who I call. It's that kind of elementary thinking that has Liberia where it is.
You say your state lawmaker. You say your district lawmaker.
But we gotta go. Let it more.
So when someone's a state lawmaker, do you know if they've lived in Liberia before? Do you know what they know about Liberia before? Do you know if they've been to Liberia as a Peace Corps before? Do you know any of that? No.
I know what state lawmaker will be. You can't just remember the bread.
You see, this is the small thinking that yes.
Okay, give out the big thinking now.
Okay, yes, and I would say that. Okay, and this kind of thinking allow you guys to make conclusions about the politics in Liberia. We've seen that this type of politics that is the politics of lawlessness and corruption. The politics has not contributed to the development of Liberia. Okay, it's the politics of people who want to maintain positions or perhaps talk about personal vendetta. That's the politics that. Please do not interrupt me, Mr. Watson.
Do you know the history? No. Do you know the history? You are learning error. Do you know the history of that?
Mr. Watson, you gotta go. You cannot interrupt Mr. Watson. I beg to mute you. I beg you. Let me mute you. Mr. Watson, you will come on. Let please.
Mr. Watson, stop being emotional, please.
That's our only female on the set.
Stop being emotional. Okay.
Go ahead, Dr. Richardson.
The politics that and you calling that politics. Good politics, the politics that Dr. Richardson used to know. I'm okay with not knowing such a politics because that politics has not contributed to building roads in our country. The politics that Mo Ali speaks about, that he's running for a position in his district, which I pray, that the Liberian people do not elect you because you have sat in Liberia all these years and you have not contributed to the development of your district. Okay, the politics that Mr. Mo Ali has not contributed to improving healthcare in Liberia. The politics that have not contributed to the economy. So when you sit here today and talk about, Dr. Richardson has stayed in the United States so long, castigating the people, the Liberians who are in the United States, who spend their hard money contributing to Liberians, their relatives in Liberia, because they don't live in Liberia. It is wrong for you to do that. And I'm happy that I'm not part of that political theater or political arena that you know of. And Mr. Woolsey, I hope that this will be a last time trying to determine how I use my time, whether I use my time to call someone or write something or be on the show. That is none of your business. Thank you very much.
So thank you very much, Dr. Richardson. Folks, we need to hear from the Liberian people. Please bear with us. We're begging you. I know we have to go, but we need to call your neighbor. Go hug the transformer by. Leave her alone. You can't all show once in a month. You won't kind of disturb our good doctor. Let's open the phone line. And let's hear from our Liberian people. We're going to take 15 calls, please, concerning what happened today at Prince Johnson Church. You got 1 minute to speak. We will not give you more than 1 minute. Don't say anything contrary. Just tell us what happened to PYJ's church. You can see.
The numbers are 077771075 077771075. Let's talk to this first person. Good evening.
Hello?
Your name and where you join us from?
Hello?
Hello, your name and where you join us from?
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm Roger Matare. I'm calling you from the Golden Pulpit this evening.
Okay, let's hear you about what happened today at Prince Johnson's church.
You know, the only thing I want to say is what happened to Senator Johnson is a complete provocation in violations of the Farmington Accord that almost all the political parties affect their signature to. But the only thing I want to say is that we are prepared to get ready to take on the state power democratically. It's just a sign of distraction, and we're not going to be distracted because the opposition is focused on taking on the state power. Like I said earlier, that our only worry is the excess baggage that this group are leaving behind, and I know that we got some technocrats that are going to deal with the issue, you know, in according to the constitution of this country. We want to condemn the situation in a stronger term, and the only thing I would say as I close. Castro is in the hill, not like took gun and bust your hair, but because he didn't control the people that were going to be the way he is today.
Thank you. Hello, your name and where you join us from?
Yes, Savannah, and I do join the conversation this time tonight from Clarata. I am a member of CYM, and my goal is to make Mr. We are a one-time vocal dancer. Good evening to all of the strong panelists. Most of all, you, big brother, you, Ifapon, you know the attack today by Sibisha was a plain thing, right? Those guys do this thing in order for them. In fact, those guys want to kill Senator Johnson before the election. But I would like to send a message across the board to all of our opposition. Stop hierarchies. You guys, since you think you educated to the much that you yourself you can be involved in violence, say that there as for us that are supporting you, Mr. We have nothing to do with us. We are common people. Just sit down there, we have plenty of books. Let Judge we are and DK you before the election day, then win the election. If you are looking for it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's hear this person. Good evening. Your name and where you join us from?
Good evening. My name is Santana and I call from Johnsonville.
Let's hear you.
Yes, sir. See what happened? So is something that is not acceptable. But what people are trying to do in the country, they're trying to make violence to be something regular, and they try to make lies to be something regular. But from what I see, if people ready to go attack, they will not going to go with everything that we see on them. It's like something plain. But what they're doing, they must come after them. Let them know. They did take power, the same thing might happen. Let them stop this. There's too much of trick to get state power. They should stop it. That is total plan.
What are you trying to say?
It was planned. And people know very well.
Planned by who?
They know very well.
Oh, okay, thank you.
I will not go attack you. I will not go attack you and I carry my t-shirt. And to prove what?
Thank you very much. Let's talk to another person here. Hello, your name and where you join us from?
Good evening.
Good evening. Your name and where you join us from?
DK Monsalier calling from Jakarta. DK Monsalier calling from Jakarta, Riyadh.
Let's hear you.
I just came from Nimba and all information. Our legal Senator Johnson was just arriving there like on internet radio station. It's so sad. What would you CDC is already have 4 in Nimba County. They are no moral ground in Nimba County. Then you attack something. So tomorrow we are rejoicing. Today is a day that the Lord has made. We have to rejoice and glad in me. The CDC has defeated yourself in Nimba County again. And we have more to.
Okay, thank you. We lost him. Let's talk to this person. Good evening.
Good morning. Good evening.
Good evening. Your name and where you join us from?
Okay, this is Jeremiah Jenna calling from Police Academy.
Let's hear you, Jerry.
First, I want to say thank to Senator Johnson for him to be, someone that is too patient. Because Senator Jenna, we know, from the past, for him to be patient today, he didn't take any action. I want to thank you so much. And what I want to say is that for now, it's like an insurance time. we are playing a game and we are letting it go to zero. And it's an interim time now. So someone comes to run the game and we're not going to do it. We'll be peaceful and the game will be end peacefully. And we'll be sure that we win the game peacefully. So let us be peaceful to continue that. We win this game peacefully. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Good evening.
Good evening to the panelists on the show.
Your name and where you join us from?
My name is Josiah Fume from the Commandant Peace Island.
Okay, let's hear you.
Let me say thank God first of all, and thank to Senator Prince Johnson for the coloring he showed today to the Liberian people. What some of them have noticed, there's a claim. The person that seems to be peaceful in his own word as a claim. In fact, it's a contradiction to your own thoughts, to the Liberian people. So, what we notice, these people want to use intimidation so that people can feel deterred to not go to the pool. That's a strategy for them. But I would say this, that strategy cannot work on us. No, when you have done well, why should you be around a counter-position using a lot of verdict around here to the people? You claim you have done well. No government has delivered like the government has done to think of the day now. Why should you be setting around here? But I will say this, and Johnson won't be deterred. It's just proving that this government is campaigning that we no longer interested in continuing to state power.
Thank you.
What we do will be worse than what we're doing now.
Thank you very much. Let's hear another person. Good evening.
How are you, brother?
I'm okay. Your name and where you join us from?
This is Barney for the family calling from the Philippine community.
All right, let's hear you.
As regards to what happened to Johnson today,
you want to lower your radio a little bit?
Yeah. Senator Johnson, thank you for your peace talk, for what you say peacefully.
Okay.
On a very serious note, because if now by this time we're talking different things. But however, it is it's warning shot going to the entire opposition bloc. Those guys have different enough motive against us. If we not stand strong for God to be on our side, it's not easy because it's masterminded by their father and their son are agree. Every one of them they do what they are doing.
Okay.
But we promise them we retire them on October 10th, democratic. We are no violence. If they want to bring violence, we will not carry violence to them. We'll carry peace to them and get them out. We'll get them state power.
Thank you. Let's hear you. Good evening.
Yes, thank you. This is Edward Mendy into Guru anyway.
Okay, let's hear you.
Honestly, the opposition continue to all of the time, I mean, this is a responsible opposition, and I'm glad to be part of a responsible opposition. What I can say is this. I respect you a lot, but to call somebody that country or another district in another country to advise you on what's going on in Liberia, for me, as the kind of respect I have for you to do that, it maybe in some kind of way. Because, I mean, if you call somebody from the ANC, because you are not running in the house, you should call somebody from the ANC, in the house. If you are calling to a party, but call another state in America for calling in America, you, it's time, man. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's hear this person.
That should be our last caller, please.
Okay.
Evening.
Your name and where you join us from?
I'm Chokon Biangwa calling from Police Academy.
Let's hear you, Chokon.
Okay. Before I get moved on to the issue pertaining to Prince Johnson, I just want to make clarity on the statement that Richardson made about Mo Ali. And in district number 5, I want her to know that Mo Ali remains the most formidable force in District 5, and she shall see him October 10 in the capital. And to Prince Johnson, I just want to say, oh man, we tell you thank you. The way people have then taken you to be as a warlord and criminal, we agree to the fact, but you have then converted to a real Christian. You are peaceful, remain peaceful. All of this strategy is just meant to distract you from your focus. I want to say thank you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, folks. This is how we like to leave you. Again, we want to say join us tomorrow. We'll be having a wonderful program. This is your Spoon Talk. This is your network. And indeed, we are blessed to have you. Have a wonderful evening, and thanks for all what you do for our nation. Mr. Woolsey, thank you. Honorable Fagon, thanks. Hussein Wafadika, we want to say to you, Dano Sano, welcome as always when you can. Mo Ali, we appreciate your wonderful analysis on the show. Now joining us is Councillor Lamin Bago, the best friend to Minister Woolsey. I want to say, as always, that Richardson, thank you for being the lead moderator on our show. We appreciate you ever so much. Thank God I didn't call Fago's name. We want to say thank you to everyone, and you have a wonderful.
I also want to thank you for being the lead hijacker. I want to thank you for being the lead hijacker all the time.
Fagon battery went there. You have a good night, yeah. Bye-bye.
Africa, just to you know. If the children crying for starvation, just to small. You want to get a news update, my brother, to small. You want to.
Okay, folks, that's it. So you can join us on tomorrow for another edition of the Spawn Talk. I'm Yekezi Zobel. I have been here as your producer. Bye-bye from my end.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,